Uchiha Madara and Hashirama team up for ultimate battlefield domination. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 71 Dragon Kingdom Contestants Highlight Moment. 3 Class of Fierce Beasts were seconds. In the face of this godlike knife in the doorway, the more the audience thinks about it, the more bizarre it becomes. Although it is indeed a very fast man, it is also too fast. It is like instantaneous movement. Not to mention the speed of sound, I even doubt that he can reach the speed of light, which is the fastest life form in the world. This time I was looking at the vista, so it was very clear that he was in one location, and he was in another location in an instant, which was definitely teleportation. It's really unbelievable. The original fire and water spray or something. Can barely understand, what is this instantaneous movement of the ghost? Soon, someone remembered the previous flying thunder array technique. By the way, this is similar to the thunder array technique used by the Germans before, right? I also heard Uzumaki talking to myself just now, saying something about the flying thunder god. It should be something similar. Then this is much more powerful than the Germans, and the Dragon Kingdom players can directly perform it alone, and this can almost be said to be an instantaneous thing. It seems that the Germans are weak. At this time, the people of the Dragon Kingdom once again rejoiced in the whole country. Their Dragon Kingdom players are indeed the strongest beings. And at this time, the invisible demon fire demon beast, which was seriously injured by the door, was contaminated with blood on its body, and its appearance was finally clearly displayed in front of everyone. It does look like a creature that resembles a chameleon. However, at this time, because he was seriously injured by the door, the chi and blood in his body were disordered, so his ability to change color also decreased rapidly. It is no longer possible to control the pigmentation of one's own body and become one with the environment. He could only endure the pain and spew out a fatal blow directly from his mouth. Boom! A black flame, almost between the whiskers, suddenly arrived. But what shocked him immensely was that the door that was close at hand, which was about to be hit by his own Amaterasu black flame, had disappeared again. He immediately looked around in a hurry, only to see that it was already behind him. This made the invisible demon fire demon beast feel like it was struck by lightning. How can it be? Is this a ghost? Suddenly appeared behind him again? Such a terrible enemy, how should you deal with it? The invisible demon fire demon beast, who had always been unafraid of heaven in the past, felt powerless for the first time. He could only attack furiously, spewing out countless flames in all directions. Amaterasu black inflammation was also spewed out by him a lot, so that all around him was covered with a cloud of black. Seeing the deathly struggle of this invisible demon beast, his eyebrows were always locked, and he didn't dare to fight with it directly. He began to dodge continuously, not wanting to confront the invisible demon fire demon beast. Anyway, the stealth demon fire demon beast had already been defeated, and it was just this time that it could quickly exhaust its physical strength. As for the A-level demon fire demon beast on the other side, he also felt the serious injury of his companion. It was furious, gritted its teeth, and hated these humans to the extreme. However, at this time it had already come to the range of the wooden escape between the pillars, and it was not good to go directly back to save the invisible demon fire demon beast. So you can only quickly defeat the pillar, rescue your poisoned companion, and then go back to deal with the pillar. When the audience was amazed, the A-level fierce beast immediately arrived on the battlefield and began to attack. A flame first flew to the place where its companions were, trying to save the A-level demon fire demon beast who was in danger and desperately struggling. At this time, the poisoned A-level demon fire demon beast had almost been wrapped in layers of branches and vines, and even its body was almost invisible. Although he could still spit out flames, it was far from the speed at which trees were growing. It was only at this time that his companions rescued him, and he finally saw the hope of being rescued. Blah blah blah. 2 grade A demon fire demon beasts, one inside and one outside, together began to burn the branches and vines between the pillars. The A-level demon fire demon beast inside could finally reveal its body and was about to escape from here. After seeing this, the pillar frowned. There was a powerful beast of the same level again? But it seems to be a little bit worse. The flow of wood chakra was strengthened between the pillars again, accelerating the growth of the trees, and continuing to surround the poisoned A-class demon beast. The A-class demon fire demon beast, which originally had the hope of escaping from the predicament, was once again surrounded by more vines and golden branches and leaves. The wooden escape technique between the pillars began to engage in a fierce confrontation with the flames of the 2 A-level demon fire demon beasts. For a moment and a half, they can't break the shackles directly. Moreover, the new A-level demon fire demon beast did not dare to go directly into the range of the flower tree realm, and only dared to spew fire from a distance to help. Lest he inhale the pollen himself, he will repeat the same mistakes as his own companions and lose his combat effectiveness. So at this moment, these two A-level demon fire demon beasts were still in the ascendant. And the invisible demon fire demon beast next to the door room was also rapidly depleted of energy, and it couldn't support it for long. At this time, the people of the Dragon Kingdom were even more overjoyed to see that the situation of the Dragon Kingdom players was very good. They fell into the carnival and began to celebrate the victory of the Dragon Kingdom players in advance. Haha, it seems that the so-called A-level demon fire demon beast is not the opponent of our Dragon Nation. Foreigners who were not optimistic about us before, didn't they punch them in the face? Can the A-level demon fire demon beast defeat us? How naive. It seems that you can still be chased by A-level beasts, or even B-level beasts, which is really a dish. At this time, the national pride of the Dragon Nation is once again incomparably strong. The other side at this point. In the battlefield where Suban and Bayuekue were located. Bayuekue was still cupping the skinny little human-type pole eater. As for Suban's side, the B-level fierce beasts were still desperately mad, wanting to kill Suban and prevent this human-type pole eater from returning to its original state. However, after being harshly taught by Suban and killing several pole eaters, they were only slightly instigated. He only dared to wander around Suban and wait for the opportunity to move. Looking at these B-class fierce beasts in front of him, Suban immediately felt very bored, and even yawned. These garbage goods, there is no way to please him. Alas, what happened to these B-class beasts that were cupped by Bayuekue? When will they be able to become what they deserve? I'm impatient to wait. Thinking about it, Suban even sat bored on the ground. Holding his chin in his hand, he didn't know what was on his mind. And although these B-level fierce beasts were eyeing the tiger, they were furious and angry at Suban's utter contempt. But for a moment and a half, they really did not dare to continue to indulge. The scene soon reached a stalemate. Until after a while. The B-class fierce beast that Suban was in charge of suddenly opened his eyes and began to stutter. Where is this place? After being treated by Bayuekue cupping, it has begun to gradually regain its sanity, and at this moment it can finally officially speak. After seeing that this fierce beast could actually speak, Li Ban finally came to be interested. Oh? It seems that you can really talk. After seeing this scene, the Dragon Nation and people from other countries were all shocked. What the heck? This fierce beast has really become a human. It seems that he was indeed an intelligent creature before. I just don't know if the human beings in the national transport embargo are different from the humans on their planet. For a time, the audiences of various countries were generally blown up and commented one after another. This is definitely a big discovery in the national embargo. At this time, Bayuekue was also very happy. It just so happened that the opponent on her side was almost solved. So he came to Suban with another human-type pole eater who was constantly spitting out black blood and his consciousness was recovering. Bayuekue spoke to this B-level beast, or B-level human, you should have turned into a monster before, we saved you back. After hearing these words, this person was still a little confused. It seemed that there was no way to wake up for a while and a half, and the brain turned into a paste. Bayuekue could only ask again patiently, hoping that he would quickly remember the previous events. Being able to figure out the background of this person may be more important than killing these fierce beasts. And at this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. National embargo tips. Congratulations to the Dragon Nation for regaining the consciousness of the Forbidden Land intelligent creatures for the first time. Reward Dragon Nation points 10,000. Because of the move in the Ferocious Beast Fury area, Dragon Kingdom earns triple points, 30,000 points. And this is the first time that all the players have regained the consciousness of the fierce beast, rewarding the Dragon Kingdom with additional rewards. Contestants such as Suban, Pillar, Uzumaki, and Bayuekue can all get B-class treasure chests. After hearing this voice, the Dragon Nation people were even more excited. Oh my god, it looks like we've really achieved something we've achieved before. These pole eaters can really be saved. Their predecessors were indeed people, although I don't know what the significance of this is, it will certainly help Suban and others to better explore this national embargo. Battlefield on the other side. After hearing the masterpieces of Bayuekue and others, the columns were also incredibly surprised. Oops, I didn't expect Bayuekue to save an inexplicable person, and they were able to get so many rewards. It seems that they are not much worse than us. You have to work hard to catch up with them. I want to be the first to kill a Class A beast. He continued to control the branch vine man and attacked the A-level demon fire demon beast with all his might. Suban and the others continued to ask about this person who was still a little demented and had wisdom for the time being. Before you did, ever. But before they could ask a few more questions, a howl echoed through the battlefield, shifted their attraction somewhere ahead. Roar. The embargo is also playing a prompt again. National embargo tips. Dragon Kingdom players Pillar and Bayuekue encounter A-class Pole Eaters. The A-level Pole Eater is the leader of the Pole Eater race and has more comprehensive powers than the B-level Pole Eater. It has almost all the outstanding abilities of the B-class Pole Eater, such as attack, defense, speed, and health. In the sight of everyone, a worm-like creature more than 10 meters high and walking upright appeared. In appearance, it can be said that it is a collection of various insects, including centipedes, dragonflies, and various characteristics of spiders. Its silver iron armor looks incredibly hard. Based on its appearance, coupled with the characteristics of the Pole Eater summarized earlier, the crowd also deduced, in addition to its amazing defensive power, it definitely has a strong and tenacious vitality. You may be cut off a few legs and can continue to attack. This A-level fierce beast, similar to the one encountered between the pillars before, was feeling the crisis of its own clan members before it immediately ran here. At this time, it must find a way to stop Suban and Bayuekue. They can't get more information from this human-type Pole Eater. So at this moment, the A-class Pole Eater had a vicious face, revealing its green-faced fangs and fiercely looking at Suban and Bayuekue. It was as if they were going to tear them to pieces. Feeling this momentum that was completely different from before, Suban finally came a little bit. Oh. Finally, a stronger beast has arrived. Finally, I can get a little serious. He began to clap his fists, ready to teach the speed A-level fierce beast. You must kill this A-level Pole Eater first, before the pillars. At the same time, feeling that his body really had a powerful force that had never been seen before, Bayuekue couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. My heart is also extremely jealous. It seems that a hard idea has finally come, and you have to fight with all your strength. Bayuekue's mind just moved, and without saying anything to Suban Duo, he directly burst out and began to attack the A-level fierce beast. Seeing that Bayuekue was still attacking so actively, Suban frowned slightly, and immediately followed suit, so as not to cause an accident to Bayuekue. Bayuekue quickly swung out a thunder knife and began to slash at the A-level fierce beast. When the A-level fierce beast saw this, it also roared wildly, and with its cold and shiny iron claws, it grabbed at Bayuekue. Sonorous. An earth-shattering crash resounded through the sky. Under the action of strong recoil, Bayuekue flew backwards for tens of meters. And the A-level fierce beast only took a few steps back and stabilized itself. After all, it was such a huge A-level fierce beast, and the absolute strength of the light theory was still far from Bayuekue. Bayuekue had just stepped back a few tens of meters away when he suddenly heard a voice behind him. Bayuekue, you still have to protect these two people. Just give this monster to me, Suban gave orders to Bayuekue with an unmistakable tone. Hearing Suban's words, although Bayuekue was a little unconvinced in his heart, he had to obediently obey the order. After all, to deal with this A-level fierce beast, she really didn't have the certainty of victory. After seeing this scene, countless viewers were enthusiastic and excited. Here it comes. Our Suban gangster is going to fight against the A-class fierce beast. Both the pillars and the pillars can deal with the A-class fierce beasts, and Suban is certainly not far behind. But then again, this A-class Pole Eater is also extraordinary, and it must not be careless. These Pole Eaters don't look like normal creatures, some of them are cut into countless pieces, and they all continue to move. I hope this A-level Pole Eater doesn't become so perverted. On the screen. Looking at the imposing A-level fierce beast in front of him, Suban also knew that it was not trivial, at least it was not something that could be dealt with casually. So I immediately started to move. His hands were sealed as fast as lightning. The audience can only see him making countless dazzling movements with his hands. Subsequently, Li Ban officially launched an attack. Fire escape. The art of dragon yen singing, Suban jumped violently, spitting out 4 fire dragons directly at the ground in midair. This fire dragon attacked the A-class Pole Eater in front of it from 4 directions, up, down, left and right. For Suban, this is the fire escape technique with a 100% hit rate. The enemy has almost no way to dodge except for hard resistance. As soon as these 4 fire dragons were born, they emitted a burst of dragon groans, and their momentum shot straight into the clouds. As if possessing a lifelike form, it suddenly attacked the A-level Pole Eater. After seeing this attack, the entire audience was shocked again, shocked to the extreme. I lean on, this flame is so terrible, it's like a meteor swarm. Sure enough, the only thing that can fight against the huge woods between the pillars is this level of flame. With that said, I'm looking forward to the earth-shattering battle between Suban and the pillar, haha. Next, the audience is more looking forward to Suban's achievements. In the national embargo. Seeing this extinction flame descending from the sky, the A-class pole eater was also extremely dignified. He immediately condensed a wave of black energy from his mouth. Not long after, a dazzling black ball of light suddenly formed. Around this black ball of light, the air formed countless fierce turbulence. Although the size is not large, the momentum is also terrifying. After the energy storage was completed, this black ball of light shot out violently, like an arrow off the string, with unstoppable mysterious energy, crashing into Suban's long Yensong technique. Boom! This black ball of light, which seemed to have energy compressed to the extreme, quickly collided with Long Yan's singing technique. Then smash one of the faucets and crash into the others. Bang! Bang! However, after cancelling out the 3 dragon heads, it was already the end of the crossbow and slowly disappeared. And the remaining dragon head, in the suddenly enlarged pupils of the A-class pole eater, suddenly crashed into its body. The blast wave of explosions that are enough to crack the mountain and crack the stone burst out in an instant. Episode 72 Trapped A-level enchantment Suban shows the power of the gods Susanoo. In the shocked eyes of countless viewers, Suban's fire escape dragon Yen's singing technique directly blasted the A-class pole eater directly into the air. At this scene, the audience of the Dragon Kingdom could not help but stand up and applaud one after another. Haha, our Suban big guy is really the strongest. All of a sudden, the class of fierce beast was beaten into such a miserable look. I only care about Suban and the people on both sides of the pillar now. Who is the fastest to kill the A-class beast? Gee, don't be so quick to set up the flag. Looking at this pole eater, he still seemed to be alive and well, indeed, in the picture. At this time, the pole eater did not look like it had been hit hard, but it just looked a bit awkward. Although Suban's attack could cause him damage, it was not fatal. His hard shell had now turned scorched black, and there were many burn marks. Even the 2 tentacles on the top of the head were half burned. It does look like it hurts a lot. Aware of the injuries on his body, the A-level pole eater was very angry in his heart. As a class of fierce beast, when in the past, he had suffered such damage. What a shame. His eyes were bloodshot red, and he stared directly at Suban who had caused harm to himself, and his eyes flashed with a fierce light. After some energy storage, the A-level pole eater immediately began to attack Suban, and in an instant, 3 black energy balls of light condensed from his mouth. Shout! These 3 energy light balls were all about the same size as the one created by the pole eater before, emitting scalp-tingling energy fluctuations. There is no doubt that being hit by one of them will be a damage that no one can afford. Suban still looked at the attack of the A-level pole eater with a calm face, and said in a calm tone, "Oh? Do you want to win by quantity? So how many can you make?" Suban's voice had just fallen, and the A-class pole eater had already controlled the black ball of light and burst out. Thundered. And Suban just quickly continued to seal, and then began to create more terrifying fire escape techniques. The art of singing by Fire Dragon. This time, Suban actually created more than a dozen flame dragon heads, looking down at the fierce beasts in front of him in a majestic manner. Then it shot out suddenly, like 31 shells, wrapped in unimaginable power. Stir up countless pieces of debris, as well as blizzards of flying intestines. After that, it collided with the energy ball of the A-level pole eater. Boom, boom. This time, the confrontation is even more powerful than the previous confrontation. In the face of this dense fire dragon, although the energy balls of the pole eater had cancelled out almost 10, there were still more fire dragons that quickly exploded to the ground. Exploding shockwaves sweep through the battlefield. When the audience saw this scene, they were even more stunned and dumbfounded. Wow. I'm going to take back what I just said. This is the real meteor swarm. This Suban is also too terrible. This is comparable to a missile swarm washing the ground. Good fellow, the ground was directly flattened, and I couldn't see any ice cubes at all, as if it had finally become normal terrain. In other words, if it is to attack the players of other countries, it is impossible for anyone to survive such an attack. I really want to know how much of his tree can be left in the face of such an attack. The audience was shocked by the scene in front of them, and at the same time, they also had infinite reverie about the imaginary battle scene between the Suban pillars. The national embargo in the picture. After a puff of smoke cleared, the crowd also saw the extremely wolf-eating beast at this time, panting, and there was already unspeakable fear in their eyes. Seeing the situation, Suban even showed a disgusted look. Isn't that the only way it works? I thought you could keep dancing. It is estimated that when I see you like this between the pillars, there is no way to arouse much excitement. Fire escape, fire extinguishing technique. Yikes. Suban once again used the fire escape technique that was more condensed and concentrated. A straight and stout pillar of fire surged out, straight into the body of the A-level pole eater at this time. The pole eater was also forced to condense the energy light pillar and collide with Suban. Boom! The energies of the two sides began to collide violently. However, the energy light cluster of the A-class pole eater was obviously in a situation of defeat, and it was quickly forced to the face of the pole eater itself. Within a few seconds, it was estimated that Suban's heroic fire extinguishing technique would directly penetrate the pole eater. The A-level pole eater could only support it at this time, struggling to resist Suban's attack, just when the audience was also extremely excited, waiting for Suban to kill this A-class fierce beast. The voice in the national transport embargo once again shocked everyone. Reminder of the Forbidden Land. Dragon Kingdom player Suban encounters A-class pole eaters. National embargo tips. Dragon Kingdom player Suban once again encountered the A-class pole eater. 2 consecutive cues sounded, indicating that 2 class A pole eaters appeared at the same time. 2 class of fierce beasts. In this pole eater population, there are only 3 A-class pole eaters, all of whom are the leaders of the pole eater race and have more comprehensive powers than ordinary pole eaters. It has almost all the excellent abilities of the B-class pole eater, such as attack, defense, speed, and health. After this news appeared, a stone stirred up 1,000 waves. The crowd immediately searched around the screen with disbelief. Only to see another pillar of energy light, coming from afar, began to help the endangered pole eater, and together with Suban. Rumble. The pole eater had originally been forced into a desperate black energy pillar of light, and after the addition of his companions, he was finally able to launch a counterattack against the pillar of fire. Suban's heroic fire extinguishing technique finally showed a retreating posture. The pole eater, who had just been defeated and retreated, could finally catch his breath a little. Followed by. Next to Suban, an extremely sensitive fierce beast suddenly appeared. He had been waiting for a long time, and at this moment, a black ball of energy light had already condensed in his mouth, containing the unique Forbidden Land power cultivated by the pole eater beast. When it saw that Suban was about to defeat the A-class pole eater, it suddenly appeared and slammed the ball of energy in its mouth at Suban's body. Rumble. Seeing this unexpected blow, countless viewers lost their voices and exclaimed, "Oh my god! The big guy Suban was actually in. He can't have an accident, right? Are these 2 abominable A-class pole eaters deliberately calculated? Good to come, but arrived at this time. I think they do have a certain amount of wisdom, and they definitely want to take advantage of the fact that Suban is about to defeat the pole eater before suddenly attacking, so as to make Sushin have a slack heart, and if he is not careful, he will be successfully attacked. It's really a good idea. I don't know if Suban's big guy can withstand this sudden attack." When everyone was worried, Suban in the picture was still very calm. As soon as he finished unleashing the fire escape technique, he twisted his body, dodged it, and used the flame cluster to fan off this sneaking A-class pole eater. Even if you don't compete in ninjutsu, Uchiha-level physical skills are not something these beasts can bear. Bang! This A-class pole eater was hit by this blow and flew out of a distance of hundreds of meters. At the same time, the energy light balls it had created itself also exploded. Boom! After a burst of smoke, this class A pole eater was accompanied by a violent cough, and its body reappeared with scales and wounds. He looked at Suban's gaze, which was already full of malice and jealousy. It seems that this Suban is indeed not a very easy opponent to deal with. Even if these A-level pole eaters are combined, they must have a bitter battle. At this moment, the 3 A-class pole eaters all stood together slightly embarrassed, facing Suban far away, ready to start fighting with Suban. Seeing the scene of the electric light flint just now, the Dragon Kingdom audience on the screen was also in a state of surprise. It scared me to death. I thought this close-range explosion, Suban was going to hang on the line. However, the next battle is not easy. Suban actually has to face so many great fierce beasts at the same time, which is really unprecedented. It's harder than fighting between the pillars and the doors. It was not an easy task for them to deal with an A-level demon fire demon beast. Alas, Suban big guy, can he handle it easily? Even if he is strong, there will be a certain limit, right? At this time, the audience was indeed very worried about Suban. Seeing these 3 pole eaters fighting side by side and with a vicious look in their eyes, Suban was even more excited at this time. Very good, the strength of the 3-headed beast should be able to barely fight me. I hope you will not let me down. I'm in a hurry, so let's use all the strongest attacks I can use. Suban, who longed for a stronger battle, at this time, under the action of the Uchiha spot template, his whole body began to boil with blood. These A-level pole eaters also seemed to be able to understand Suban's words, and they were grinning wildly, and their hearts were very unpleasant. However, they do have to admit. Suban, who possessed such a terrifying oppressive force, indeed had such wild qualifications. As a result, the three A-class pole eaters no longer hesitated and joined the battle together. Seeing this, Bayuekue's eyebrows were tight, and she immediately began to ask in a low voice. Do you need my help? If I'm a grade A pole eater, I should still be able to deal with it. We cut the formation. Deal with them separately, Suban still rejected Bayuekue expressionlessly. Forget it, you still have to take care of these two people, lest we even have no booty. As far as the three-headed beast is concerned, it is not a big army, so why cut the formation so troublesome? As soon as the words fell, Suban didn't say much more and immediately jumped up. Begin your attack on the three-headed A-class pole eater. Bayuekue was also a little speechless in his heart. However, she could not disobey Suban's orders. If you go up, you may still be able to help, so it is still in the back, and you can do what you should do. These two human-shaped pole eaters are also extremely important strategic level rewards. And against Suban, who was on the three A-class pole eaters, without reservation, he directly exerted his fire escape technique to the extreme. Boom boom boom. Countless flames fell from the sky, like meteors falling to the ground, cleaning the entire battlefield. The three A-class pole eaters were desperately hiding, and only those who could not avoid them would use energy light waves to counteract Suban's fire escape technique. At the time of this hasty hiding, they also unconsciously surrounded Suban from all directions. At the same time, there are also more than a dozen B-class pole eaters staying nearby, ready to assist the A-class pole eaters. Finally, after a bit of passive defense, they finally achieved their goal. All the pole eaters surrounding Suban roared up to the sky at the same time, and the forbidden energy in their bodies poured out. Four black light curtains suddenly fell from the sky, forming a translucent black light shield, enveloping Spot in it. This enchantment carries mysterious and ancient patterns, as if from ancient times. After using this formation, they also retreated violently and breathed a sigh of relief. The A-class pole eaters were panting and sweating like rain. And the B-class pole eater collapsed to the ground, obviously consuming a huge amount. This is the boundary that the members of their pole eater population have all worked hard together to use. They were confident that with this boundary, they would be able to trap Suban and make it impossible for him to get rid of it. As long as they can use this enchantment to buy a certain amount of time, they can slowly deal with Suban. Even if Suban could barely break through this boundary, it would definitely take a few days and nights of hard work, and exhaust the physical strength of his whole body. When the time comes, will they still be left to slaughter? Moreover, after that, Suban also tried to use the fire escape fire extinguishing technique. Yikes! Suban's magma eruption-like fire escape technique hit this boundary, and it didn't even move. It is estimated that if you do not spray for a few hours, you will not be able to cause substantial damage. At this moment, seeing that Suban was trapped by these pole eaters, and the malicious eyes of the pole eaters, Bayuekue was also suddenly shocked. No way? Such a powerful Suban would actually be trapped by this boundary? That's a bad thing. Can Suban escape from it? Do you want to help break the barrier? Bayuekue frowned bitterly and looked at the pole eater beast that she had just unpacked. One of them, who had regained consciousness, had begun to look as white as paper, trembling at the surrounding pole eaters. He seemed to remember the terrible scenes of the past, and his mouth was screaming like a frightened baby. The other pole eater, which had not yet fully recovered consciousness, had been shrinking and was very close in appearance to the humanoid state. He was still dazed, as if he hadn't figured out what everything in front of him meant. Seeing these important human-type pole eaters, Bayuekue was even more embarrassed. If they went to help Suban get out of trouble and leave here, then they would be in danger. But it is impossible for him to carry so many drag oil bottles while saving Suban, right? Of course, what's worse may be that even if you abandon them, you may not be able to save Suban. And when Bayuekue's heart was on fire, the Dragon Kingdom people were also extremely anxious. They all talked about it in the barrage area. Mom, what kind of formation is this? It looks like an airtight boundary. I didn't expect this group of A-level fierce beasts to be able to use such skills. Oh my god, even Suban's powerful flame can't destroy it. What should I do? Even if they can't kill Suban, they can still find an opportunity to kill Bayuekue, which is bad. And after that, Suban was trapped inside. They caught people in the urn, and there must be many ways to deal with Suban. As for the foreigners at this time, of course, they will not let go of this great opportunity that they have been waiting for, and they will attack Suban and the dragon people one after another. Ha ha ha, your Dragon Kingdom player is really finished. It seems that there is only a little chance between the pillar and the door. This arrogant Suban must pay for his stupidity. Just when countless Dragon Nation people were worried. On the screen. Suban was not in any hurry. His hands were no longer sealed, and instead, the riding wheel eyes began to rotate wildly. Very good, to be able to use such a skill, these beasts can barely please me. After Yun said this lightly, a blue giant with a human bust suddenly appeared in front of everyone. This is the first form of Suban Susanoo. After the improvement of the level of playing, Suban at this time can already officially summon Susanoo. This is the ultimate pupil technique that can only be used by people who have kaleidoscopic riding wheel eyes. It takes the form of a skeleton, and the giant formed by the huge chakra will completely cover its body and move with the movement of Suban. Whether it is attack power or defense power, it has surpassed the level of mortals. It can be called the power of God. 20 meters tall, it can already be compared with the large pole eater. After seeing Suban Susanoo, all human beings boiled in an instant. What the hell? Are we dazzled again? How I seem to see the light, or the giant of the light. You don't have a blind eye. Suban big guy turned into this blue giant at this time. Even if you spewed out so many terrifying fires before, he has now directly turned into a giant. Now, countless viewers are scalp tingling and stunned. Episode 73 Yasaka Chongoyu. Up to level ninjutsu. Scare off the Class A beast. Seeing Suban's terrifying giant form, the entire audience was shocked. This big guy is not from the same species as us at all. Hammered. Suban has simply transcended our ordinary human beings and become gods. Before the fire breath, I can still use it as the ability of cultivating immortals, and this becomes a giant. Is there such a saying in Shouxian? This wouldn't be the magic of a fantasy novel, would it? Otherwise, it is completely unexplainable. Showdown, it turns out that Suban is a fantasy big guy, no wonder he can use so many horror skills. In the national embargo. While the audience was still stunned, Suban also officially launched an attack. The essence of Susanoo is actually the materialized chakra. This huge chakra can also form various ninjutsu for attack and defense. This can be said to be a giant-level ninjutsu. Suban, who is in the first form, can only use the chakra hand. But no matter how ordinary this blow is, it is a godlike power that surpasses ordinary people. Feeling the abundant power in his body, Suban's eyes burst with excitement, and he murmured, "Good. Let me get used to the power of this Susanoo first." The next moment, Suban waved his big hand at chakra and punched directly into the boundary. Rumble. With just a single blow, the three-headed A-class pole eater-led enchantment had already begun to tremble wildly. The pole eaters who looked at this scene were all stunned and completely unable to accept all this. You must know that this is the boundary they have created with all their might. It's their guardian clan array. It is no exaggeration to say that even S-class creatures cannot easily leave here. But Suban's attack could produce such a powerful effect. It's really a stone-shattering. Subsequently, Suban carried out several bombardments with Susanoo. Each bombardment was like a giant hammer that struck their hearts hard. After becoming familiar with this energy, Suban began to enter the higher state of Susanoo. Susanoo second form. After opening this second form, Suban Susanoo, who had further increased his meridians and flesh on the skull shell, no longer looked thin. And you can also use your own exclusive weapons and ninjutsu. Airplanes. The pressure in the air is further enhanced. Suban's momentum suddenly soared, making the pole eaters outside even more like enemies. They were all even more shocked to find that Suban's state had obviously become much stronger. Next, Susanoo formed a large knife in the chakra in his hand and began to slash fiercely towards the boundary. Boom! Even more violent shaking appeared in the enchantment. Then, in their horrified gaze, Suban slashed again. Another powerful slash. Dense cracks have begun to appear in the boundary. Boom! 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 After Suban's slashing, the boundary seemed to be crumbling, and there was no way to continue to support it. After seeing this scene, the A-class pole eaters, who were still complacent, were completely blinded at this time. What exactly are they dealing with? Is this still human? Actually can be directly transformed. How to fight this? Are you a beast, or am I a beast? No matter how strong it is, we must pay attention to the basic law. Are you a ferocious beast in human form? The pole eaters all looked at each other, and the expression on their faces almost looked like they had turned into ice sculptures. It didn't look like any blood at all. They already knew very well that in the face of an enemy like Suban, they could only fight to the death. Only then will there be a chance to inflict damage on Suban. The three A-class pole eaters began to open their blood basin mouths in unison, and finally began to condense all their strength. Sigh. They began to create black energy balls of light that were much larger than before, ready to deliver a final blow to Suban. These black energy balls of light, which can be said to be the result of their life's energy, are much larger than their mouths. In this way, the A-class pole eaters who had completed the condensation looked ahead with a serious face, waiting for Suban to completely break through the boundary. At the same time, B-class pole eaters everywhere have also moved out to assist 3 A-class pole eaters at a distance. Even if there is no way to fight Suban head-on, at least it will bring some trouble to Suban. Or retreat to the second place, to harass Bayuekue behind Suban. Of course, Bayuekue looked at the other B-level pole eaters, and his eyes were full of coldness. Other A-class pole eaters, that's it. These B-class pole eaters, do they dare to make a mistake in front of themselves? It's ridiculous. Suban was dealing with the main force of these pole eaters, and he couldn't drag his feet. Bayuekue showed a beautiful posture, and his eyes flashed sharply. Immediately after that, a wave of terrifying knife pressure swept out, destroying and decaying, and began to defeat these B-class pole eaters. As for the Dragon Kingdom people at this time, they were not worried about Bayuekue. They were all staring intently, looking at the black energy light balls of the 3 A-class pole eaters. How much damage will the final blow of these 3 top-level pole eaters cause to Suban? I hope that the big guy Suban can defeat it with his own giant. The only thing I'm worried about is that after he breaks this barrier, he will also need to consume a lot of physical strength, which is a bit dangerous. Suban gangster, he has been able to open this mysterious plug-in, even if it is to defeat the A-level pole eater, it should be taken for granted. Suban gangster, Banyi. LYYDS, that's right. Banyi must give us Dragon Country people to fight for Chi. We all believe in you at this time. Bing Bing, the host of the Battle of National Fortunes, also began to organize everyone to cheer Suban. This is the final battle between our Suban players and the A-class pole eaters. We must believe Suban. Our belief in the victory of the Dragon Nation will definitely allow the players to receive blessings. Pillar and Pillar and Pillar can definitely defeat the A-level demon fire demon beast in front of him. And our Suban and Bayuekue can also defeat the A-class pole eater. This boundary absolutely cannot stop Suban's steps, and even the distance of the heterogeneous space cannot stop the power of our beliefs from being conveyed to Suban and others. Come on. I hope that Suban and others will not forget that behind them, there is also a strong motherland, and countless people who support him. At this time, under the joint encouragement of the Dragon Country people, the entire Dragon Country could hear the shouts and cheers for Suban everywhere. Stick together. Unity is strength. This is the patriotic spirit they have carved into their bones. Finally, in the midst of all the attention, rumble. Rumble. Bombarded by Suban Susanoo. The boundary of the pole eaters was completely broken into a hole. It didn't take long. Suban soon expanded the opening of the cave, allowing his Susanoo to pass through it. After the smoke clears, Suban's blue giant form also officially stood in front of these A-class pole eaters. Tall and mighty. It's terrifying to look at. These pole eaters couldn't even help but look dumbfounded, swallowing a mouthful of spit with difficulty. Immediately after, they didn't think much of it anymore and quickly released the 3 earth-shattering energy balls of light completely. Rumble. 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 A black ball of light shot out. Along the way, 3 deep trenches were plowed out of the ground. It's like 3 scars of hideous horror. At the same time, countless loud noises that vibrated the eardrums also exploded in the ears of the audience. Countless viewers had to cover their ears so as not to be directly shocked by the sound. Even if they just looked at the screen, they could feel the terrible energy of the black energy ball of light. After seeing the desperate blow of the 3 A-class pole eaters, Suban's expression was still very calm. Is this your all-out attack? It's good, it can make me a little more serious at this time. As soon as the words fell, Suban's Ninghu's hand suddenly appeared 3 jade-like artifacts. 8 feet Cheongoyu. After a simple energy charge, Suban immediately threw it directly. 8-foot Cheongoyu wrapped in a huge cracking sound, suddenly shot out. The terrifying wind pressure made the snow around them also splash directly, hitting the bodies of other pole eaters, which were all obvious pains. Subsequently, the 8-foot Cheongo jade and the black energy light ball collided violently. And the 8-foot Cheongoyu was like destroying the decay, devouring these 3 black energy light balls. Boom boom. The 8-foot Cheongoyu castration did not decrease, directly at the speed of lightning and the speed of the ear, hitting the 3 A-class pole eaters below. Boom. The dazzling blue light converged here, and the sun seemed to be eclipsed by it. An earth-shattering power, centered on 3 A-class pole eaters, instantly stretched around. The rocky ground, which has long been unburdened by ice, also has countless dense cracks at this time, like the tragic scars of the earth. And after the smoke cleared, the wolf appearance of the 3 A-class pole eaters was directly exposed to everyone. At this time, they can be completely said to be flesh and skin. Covered with hard scales and black outer armor, the ravines were now crisscrossed and covered with unsightly scars. Moreover, on the surface of the skin of the A-class pole eater, there were also obviously large pieces of strange green, and these green blood dripped on the ground, which looked so terrifying and strange. At this time, the pole eaters all lost their frightening power, but instead looked like little pets who were helpless and bullied by adults. There is no such thing as the majestic appearance of the past. And Bayuekue was also completely stunned by Suban's power to destroy the heavens and the earth. Is this Suban's strongest strength? It seems that in front of him, I am indeed an incomprehensible vase. No wonder Suban could have been so crazy in the past, and it was understandable. Looking at the B-grade pole eater next to him, who also looked shocked, Bayuekue couldn't help but cry and laugh. Being in this place by myself seems really a bit redundant. Before Suban, he was indeed deliberately keeping the development opportunity to himself. Such a cargo, Suban, don't say one hit 1, say one hit 10, it is estimated that it is not a big problem. As for the Dragon Nation people in the live broadcast room, they were even more excited and shouted, "It's so special, this is Suban's Gundam mode, it's simply invincible. Haha, all turn on such a fantasy mode, who can still defeat Suban gangster? There's always a clamor to play against our Dragon Kingdom players, is there anything else to say? What a brilliant Suban god. I wish you a spotted grandfather, Banny YYDS." On the screen. At this time, the A-level pole eater did not dare to produce any idea of resistance, and this Suban was not a player they could fight at all. With just a few more such attacks, they would definitely be seriously injured. When the time comes, I can't go if I want to. Therefore, after a tacit confrontation, they immediately decided to retreat, staying in the Green Mountains, not afraid of no firewood. Being able to become A-class pole eaters in this position, their intelligence is not bad, and they know very well how far they should run at this time. Moreover, when they were preparing to leave here, they also looked at Suban, the fierce god was evil, and suddenly burst into a hoarse roar. Then he also solemnly prepared to release the skill. Seeing their huge appearance, Suban also raised a little interest. How? Do you have any more powerful moves? Then let me see it. I saw a great pole eater beast and began to condense energy in its mouth. An extremely powerful light wave suddenly appeared. And it began to expand and grow. Suban was still a little puzzled, so he looked at what kind of medicine was sold in their gourd. Only to see that after this light wave reached its limit, it immediately began to explode. Swish! A dazzling burst of white light immediately shone above the entire battlefield. And after the white light appeared, they immediately fled in 3 directions at the same time. At this time, the perspective of the Dragon Country audience is also bright and white, and they can't see the scene on the screen clearly. The Dragon Kingdom audience was nervous and shouted. Aren't these pole eaters going to do anything again? They were often haunted before, and they would have all kinds of mysterious hole cards, and maybe they would be even more terrifying than the previous enchantment. I hope that the big guy Suban will not be recruited, although Suban is powerful, but these old six. No one can guarantee that they will not make any strange moves. Suban also immediately subconsciously used Susanoo to resist. At the same time, because his vision was obstructed, he also began to use his eternal kaleidoscope to right the wheel eye and check the movements of these A-class pole eaters. Although the chakra energy mastered by Suban was slightly different from the energy of the Forbidden Land, it was still similar on the whole, so their approximate energy flow at this time could not be concealed from Suban at all. But at this moment, Suban was very surprised to find that the energy of this group of A-level fierce beasts actually began to look away at the 3 different directions. This is to escape. Good fellow, I originally thought you were going to put some big move, but I didn't expect it to be an amplified move to escape. Suban immediately sneered, and the 8-foot Cheongo Jade was condensed in his hand again. At this time, the light wave confuses the line of sight effect, and it also ends quickly. The audience also saw the movement on the battlefield and found that this King A-class pole eater had quickly run out of hundreds of meters. The audience's hearts immediately set off a fierce storm. Sleeper, their big trick is this thing. Is it necessary to run a little farther before you can cast a larger boundary? The boundary of farts. Seeing their hasty appearance, it was clear that they wanted to escape. Ha ha ha, laugh at me to death. It seems that the light wave explosion just now is a flash bomb, used to escape. Good guy, I called out good guy. This group of A-level pole eaters is indeed a group of old six. The process of attack is very insidious, and I didn't expect that the process of escaping was equally insidious. The thickness of the skin of this group of A-class pole eaters makes me think of countless foreign devils, who are really admired for being able to perform such an intimidating act with such a fierce posture. When everyone was complaining, they also saw the 8-foot jade that was instantly emitted from Suban's hand. Really? Suban is still very stable. Definitely not give them any chance to escape successfully. Soon, Suban finished accumulating energy, divided into 3 directions, and threw these 8-foot jade directly out. Quickly fly to the location of the 3 class of fierce beasts. The sharp cracking sound made their ears buzz. These A-level pole eaters also did not expect that Suban could react so quickly to hunger at this time, and also made a counterattack to prevent the escape of their 3 A-level pole eaters. They could only panic and condense 3 energy light balls from their mouths to defend against Suban's 8-foot goblet, but before they could use all their strength to create energy balls of light, they couldn't cause much damage to Suban. What's more, what about the ball of light that was hastily made at this time? Therefore, Suban's 8-foot Cheongoyu was still destroying these energy balls of light. They could only watch as the 8-foot Cheongoyu flew closer and closer, and then suddenly bloomed in front of them. Such a devastating blow is like a meteor falling from the sky. Episode 74, Suban Pillar Massacre. Class of fierce beasts have been seconds in succession. Soon, Suban Susanenga's 8-foot Cheongoyu quickly exploded. Bang! 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 Roar, roar, roar. The explosion was accompanied by the screams of the 3 A-class pole eaters. Among them, there was already a class A pole eater dying, completely without the ability to escape. This is the A-class pole eater that fought against Suban before. Before the 2 companions came, they had already suffered a lot of damage, and at this time, they were even more powerless to resist Suban's attack. After that, Suban had already manipulated his own Susanoo and quickly rushed over. At this time, he could only open the second form, like a layer of armor, covering the outside of Suban. Susanoo, who is not yet a mature body. It is impossible to create legs under Susanoo to move quickly. However, under Suban's quick body technique, he quickly came to the front of this A-level pole eater. The A-class pole eater's breath was weak, and he could only climb with a rolling belt, wanting to stay away from Suban, the peerless killing god. Of course, this is just his futile dying struggle. Suban was also very simple and direct, once again releasing an 8-foot jade at close range, completely ending his life. Under the influence of Uchiha Ban's personality, as long as these A-class pole eaters lose the value of pleasing Suban, Suban will not hesitate to kill them completely. There is no value in fighting with yourself, and there is no way to please yourself. What is the use? Boom. Before the smoke of gunfire cleared, the prompt of the national embargo had already sounded through the clouds. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing the A-class pole eater. The Dragon Kingdom became the first country to kill a Class A beast. All the contestants of the Dragon Kingdom, Suban, Pillar Gate, and Bayonkue won the A-class treasure chest. Kill a Class A beast, reward 10,000 points. Kill in the Ferocious Beast Fury area, and get 3x points, 30,000 points. At present, Dragon Country is ranked first in the national game standings, with a total of 659,000 points. Germanic ranked second, with a total of 27,000 points. I hope other countries continue to refuel. Try to catch up. Hint, the beasts, resources, and treasure levels of the Forbidden Land are F, E, D, C, B, A, S, SS, and SSS in order. During the points challenge, the standings are settled once a day, and rewards are given to those who make the rankings. At this time, the Dragon Kingdom players are far ahead, and the reward will be S-class treasure chests, and may even reach SS-level treasure chests. No cap on. As soon as this news came out, the whole world turned into a hot pot of soup again, bursting and boiling. The people of the Dragon Kingdom are all celebrating together. They Dragon Nation players are the first to kill a Class A beast. And the national transport embargo also hints that the reward of the Dragon Kingdom will be S-class treasure chest starting, ha ha ha. What a harvest. From D, C, B, A-level fierce beasts, all of them are the first kills of their Dragon Kingdom players. And there is also the first achievement to restore the consciousness of the pole eater. Do people from other countries still mean to continue to question them dragon people? In the picture of the national embargo, the good news of the Dragon Kingdom has risen again and again. At this time, the other 2 A-class pole eaters still wanted to drag their seriously injured bodies and continue to escape quickly. But Suban still didn't give them any chance, and soon came to them and released the 8-foot Cheongo Jade one by one. Boom. They couldn't even struggle for long, they could only see Suban's attack and send them to see the god of death. In the face of Suban's patch knife, these A-level pole eaters could only be completely killed in the end. Although the A-class pole eater has the characteristics of a pole eater with extremely strong vitality, after being directly blasted into pieces by Suban, of course, there is no possibility of continuing to struggle. The sound of the national embargo once again resounded through the clouds. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing the A-class fierce beast again, rewarding 10,000 points. Because it is killed in the ferocious area, get 3 times the points, 30,000 points. Congratulations to Dragon Country player Suban for killing the A-class fierce beast, rewarding 3 times the points, 30,000 points. Seeing this scene, all the Dragon Country audiences continued to boil. Ha ha ha, we Dragon Kingdom players finally succeeded in killing these 3 A-level fierce beasts. Who dares to say that we are not, and how powerful are the people of our own country? Before, a class of fierce beast almost wiped out the entire army of the Germans, and now the 3 grade of fierce beasts have all been destroyed by our Suban's entire army, and this is the gap. Suban Gangster is really a godlike figure. Although I don't want to admit it, he is indeed already detached from mortals. Then can we reach the point of Suban? The more the crowd thought about it, the more whimsical it became. Before, when we received feedback from the national fortune, we thought that our pupil strength, spiritual strength, and vitality had increased so much, and under the background of similar Reiki revival, we might have the opportunity to cultivate to the point of Suban Gangster. That's right, maybe we really have a chance to cultivate such a powerful ability as Suban Gangster. Haha, I don't want to be very powerful, but I want to be able to spew out a flame the size of 1/10 of Suban. I don't want to be so powerful, I just want this layer of armor I have cultivated to be able to reach the level of 1% of Suban. Don't say that it is so exaggerated like Suban, it is more than 10 meters high. I'm content to be able to make me about 2 meters tall. When the time comes, everyone in our dragon country will be like a dragon, even if it is a few foreign boxing kings, they can easily punch one punch, haha. However, how did Suban's giant mode come to be cultivated, and can it be completed by simply nourishing chi and exhaling? And at this time, in the forbidden land of national transportation, hearing Suban's successive achievements, countless people were stunned. The Germans were all mired in self-doubt. Damn, the Dragon Nation people are too much. What insidious means did they use, so that they could get the first kill of this A-level beast, and 3 A-class beasts in a row? I couldn't figure it out at all. We are so well equipped, why do we have to be beaten everywhere by class of fierce beasts? Do the Dragon Kingdom people have more powerful props? Or can they even master the opportunistic way to defeat the A-class beasts? I remember that before they met the A-level fierce beasts, they even thought about going to the Dragon Kingdom players and asking them how to deal with the fierce beasts. These Germans immediately had a hot face. Then again, do we still want to go to the trouble of the Dragon Kingdom? Before, we thought that the Dragon Kingdom people used some means of stealing chickens and dogs, and they still wanted to go to them, but now it seems that this is not wise. Forget it, don't get in trouble, give them a little more time to survive, let's go find other fierce beasts. Find some resources, it may be more practical. The Germanic dead ducks had a stiff mouth and muttered something, just unwilling to admit the strength of the Dragon Nation. And he didn't dare to take such a big risk and fight against the Dragon Kingdom players. After all, the Dragon Kingdom players at this time, but even the A-level fierce beasts, had slaughtered many of them. On the side of Lighthouse Nation players George and Bryce, they are once again in self-doubt. There is still no end to this day, first B level and then A level, when will their killing information be able to stop? We, such a powerful Lighthouse Nation, can't achieve so much. What do they dragon people rely on? Is the Class A beast terrifying? Is it all some unpopular goods that will be defeated by Dragon Country players? Of course, the Lighthouse Country players who had never seen the A-class pole eater really did not dare to pack tickets, and they had full confidence to deal with the A-level fierce beasts. Their only hope was on this so-called mysterious nine-tailed demon fox. It is absolutely impossible to make the Dragon Kingdom players continue to become stronger. Otherwise, no one would be able to cure them. Of course, because they saw that the nine-tailed demon fox was still full of confidence at this time, they reluctantly settled. Maybe the nine-tailed demon fox really wouldn't take this grade A beast in his eyes. Surely you can easily kill Suban and others. After all, the power possessed by this nine-tailed demon fox was indeed very powerful. Let them Lighthouse Country players cannot produce much will to resist. Therefore, if these nine-tailed demon foxes go to trouble Suban and Zhujian and others, they will definitely be able to catch them. Of course, the players in these national embargoes do not know. Countless viewers saw this scene and were even more devastated than they were. This Dragon Kingdom player is no longer an ordinary person. What a godlike figure. And it's really true. There is no exaggeration of rhetoric at all. It is also thanks to the fact that the dramatic players did not officially find the Dragon Kingdom players. Otherwise, it is really necessary to ascend to heaven directly. It wasn't enough to spew fire, water, and plant trees before, now it's all about driving giants. How do ordinary people fight with them? The audience has become less and less hopeful about the victory over the Dragon Kingdom players. Unless they can have some new turnaround and gain godlike power that can compete with Suban and others. The other side. At this time, after hearing the news of Suban, he also had extremely complicated feelings. Oops, I actually let Ban take the lead in killing the A-level fierce beast. It seems that I am still a little slower. I don't know how far Ban has grown at this time. Will he leave me far behind? No way. I'll have to keep pushing harder. Otherwise, when the time comes, I really have to obediently listen to Ban's words, and I will do what he says. In that case, it is really the last thing that the pillars want to see. With the madness of the spot. If I couldn't cure him, I really couldn't imagine what kind of things he would do. The eyes between the columns are rounded, and the output of the wooden chakra is increased again. Prepare to completely kill the tiger-shaped A-level demon beast in front of you. At this point in the picture, the tiger-shaped A-level demon fire demon beast looked at its trapped companions, anxious in its heart, but helpless. He felt that the flowers between the columns were far away, and they might be a little breathless. If you go deeper into it, you will probably be directly poisoned. But if you don't go deep into it, you can't immediately rescue your companions. Moreover, the invisible demon fire demon beast on the other side was also in a critical situation. Could it be that their demon fire demon beast population is going to suffer such a great calamity today? No way. I would never allow such a thing to happen. To be beaten to such a point by mere human beings is simply a great shame. He also couldn't care if his attack would burn his companions, directly spewing out flames like a sea of fire, with a fierce momentum, and rushing unstoppably towards where his companions were. Blah blah, the fire wave swept in with unstoppable momentum. However, in the face of this sea of trees, which is also not inferior to this, it seems so ordinary. After the dispersal of countless towering trees, the remaining waves of fire were no longer difficult to resist. Even if the outer layer of the trapped A-level demon fire demon beast is burned, more would retreat will rise up from the ground and continue to bind the A-level fire demon beast. Unless the grade A demon fire demon beast used Amaterasu black flame, it would be impossible to break through the wood between the pillars. Of course, if they really used Amaterasu black flame, they would also suffer the consequences themselves. After all, this day of black inflammation is not the difference between enemy and enemy, it will completely burn all combustible things. Unless they can use the advanced ninjutsu that controls Amaterasu Kuroyan, plus the earth life. Therefore, at this moment, facing the tree sea between the pillars, the A-level demon fire demon beast could only look at the ocean and sigh. At this time, because Suban had already killed the A-class pole eater, Bayuekue, and the others basically had no big problems. So the audience focused their attention on the pillars and the doors. After seeing this scene of crushing the demon fire demon beast between the pillars, the Dragon Kingdom people continued to discuss endlessly. It seems that the wood between the pillars is really not ordinary wood. I was thinking before that if the pillar directly wrapped these monsters in wood again, the door would be cut at will. That pillar room is definitely one of the best auxiliaries. But I seem to think too weakly between the pillars. I was still worried that the attack power between the pillars seemed to be a little worse, so should I use the trees to make a soft kegong? It turned out that this column was not an auxiliary at all, it's just hexagonal wild, attack, defense, assist, etc., everything is complete. Although it may not be as shocking as Suban's second-level pole eater just now, it is not far behind. Then again, Suban and the pillar are really the best CP. I was thinking, maybe it was because Suban's fire was so powerful that he was forced to use this tree? Haha, wildfires burn endlessly, spring wind blows and grows again. The crowd began to analyze it in earnest. Began to carefully analyze the past between Suban and the pillar, comparing the strength of the two of them. I feel that the big guy Suban is aimed at the pillars, so he developed the flame attack. After all, no matter how strong the trees are, they will burn and disappear. Although now Suban looks as if he is stronger than the pillars, and he has destroyed 3 A-class fierce beasts at once, but they were all opponents who were difficult to win or lose before, and the pillars should not be weak enough to go anywhere, right? Maybe the attack between the columns is durable, not explosive? I see that after this Suban gangster finished using the giant mode, he seemed to be a little tired, so they both had weaknesses and strengths. It didn't take long for the battlefield between the pillars to finally make an official breakthrough. Trapped in the flower tree realm between the pillars, the poison array had descended, and it was also entangled in the wood, and the A-class demon fire demon beast had long been dying. In the end, after a period of futile resistance, the A-level demon fire demon beast finally lost its breath and no longer resisted. National embargo tips. Congratulations to the Dragon Kingdom player for killing the A-class beast between the pillars, rewarding 3 times the points, 30,000 points. Finally, this side of the pillar also successfully killed an A-level fierce beast. At this moment, because of Suban's excellent record, looking at another A-class fierce beast, the pillars were even more full of war. Decided to quickly defeat it and get the kill of the second class A beast. Otherwise, he would really be far behind Liban. At this moment, this living tiger-shaped A-level demon beast was also very angry. Watching his companions die really made his heart like a knife. It is unforgivable that this pillar should slaughter their fellow citizens in such a way. Moreover, seeing that on the other side, he was fighting with the door, and the A-class stealth-devouring beast that was in danger, he was even more certain in his heart. You have to be tough. The power of the A-level fierce beast was completely unable to deal with this pillar and the door. It seems that he has to use the forbidden technique and promote to the power of an S-level fierce beast in order to compete with it. He roared in anger and immediately ordered several B-level fierce beasts around him. These B-level fierce beasts heard the roar, and after understanding the meaning of the A-level demon fire demon beast, they all showed a resolute expression on their faces. The next moment, no longer hesitating, they quickly set off together, rushing towards the corpse of the dead class of fierce beast without hesitation. Seeing their appearance, the columns were still a little confused. They should not be sure how long they will survive in this flower and tree realm. Why bother? Or desperate for dead bodies? Episode 75 Grade a Fierce Beast Synthesis S level? Mushimu Dragon Technique broken. I haven't waited for long to wonder between the columns. I saw these ordinary B-level fierce beasts quickly spew out monstrous flames and exert all their strength to destroy all the wrapped vines. The A-level fierce beast also quickly struck, spewing out extremely powerful flames. Soon, they finally liberated the body of this class of fierce beast completely. This living A-level fierce beast immediately bit down the dead A-level fierce beast. Swish! A scalp-tingling sound sounded. This A-level demon fire demon beast, literally biting out countless pieces of flesh from the dead demon fire demon beast, and pulled out a black crystal nucleus. After all this, they fled quickly. Of course, several B-class beasts were still severely poisoned, and as soon as they came out of the woods, they fell to the ground weakly. As for the A-level demon fire demon beast, it was burning in its eyes, plus flames. At this time, the momentum emanating from his body was completely different from the past. And in the next moment, he rushed away again, but the target was not between the pillars. It's in the middle of nowhere. It is like an arrow off the string, flying with great speed. Seeing that his companion was coming, the invisible demon fire demon beast was overjoyed. He hurriedly tried his best to resist the attack of the door, waiting for the arrival of his companions. Seeing this, he also frowned slightly, and immediately began to strengthen the offensive in his hand. In just a few seconds, he swung a dozen knives at the invisible demon fire demon beast. The invisible demon fire demon beast had just been severely damaged, and its pace was already slow, and its body was stagnant. But he had to exhaust the energy in his body, and he also had to support it, and finally dragged it until the tiger-shaped A-level demon fire demon beast came here. At this time, the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast, with its eyes flashing with a cold color, rushed to the door. The eyes were still cold, and the faces were full of murderous intent. At this moment, he realized that the invisible demon fire demon beast had little slackening in his heart because of the arrival of his companions. So this is the best time to kill it. As a result, he continued to meet the invisible demon fire demon beast with a sword. The invisible demon fire demon beast was really terrified at this moment. He did not expect that at such a time, he would not shy away from it and face the difficulties. Therefore, after insisting on it for such a long time, he showed flaws at this time. The invisible demon fire demon beast roared in anger, and wanted to dodge the attack of the door at this moment of electric light and flint. Unfortunately, after a flash of sword light, the figure of the invisible demon fire demon beast suddenly froze. Moreover, in the middle of its face, a terrifying bloodline appeared, all the way down from the upper man. This moment, although the invisible demon fire demon beast's mind was blank, it was also very clear that he was already dying of Huangquan. Damn it! How could this stupid human being force himself to such a point? I was so upset. With such a thought, the invisible demon fire demon beast was dying and struggling, and wanted to pull the door as a cushion back. Swish. Before dying, the invisible demon fire demon beast used his last consciousness to control his claws, clutching the door tightly, unwilling to let go. As long as you can let your companions kill the Hasama, then it will not lose. At this moment, the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast was also furious when he saw that he had come one step late. Its figure was further accelerated, with a thunderous posture, and it had to come to the ground, ready to clap flattened with one claw. In this unexpected situation, countless spectators are screaming. This invisible demon fire demon beast wanted to drag him to the end, and there was no way to escape. Is it true that the Dragon Kingdom players will have their first casualties? Countless viewers were too late to send the barrage, and could only close their eyes helplessly, not daring to look at the next scene. They seemed to have guessed the scene of blood spattering between the doors. But at this moment, there was a cold flash in the eyes, between the doors. The movements of this invisible demon fire demon beast seemed to have been expected by him. The next moment, just as the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast was about to pounce on the door, the figure of the door room disappeared again. Then it appeared somewhere in the snow next to it. When he first appeared here, he quickly sealed his hands. Water breaker. A column of ultra-high pressure fine water erupted violently from the mouth, like a sharp blade, shooting out. It is extremely destructive, can easily tear and shred the target in front of it, and its range and speed are also amazing. Even if it is the root of the hard sacred tree, there is a way to cut it off, let alone the body of a fierce beast. Therefore, everything at this time is also in the calculation between the doors. Before the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast had a chance to arrive, he had already been able to kill the invisible demon fire demon beast at the end of the crossbow. Just to kill two birds with one stone, so I waited until now. When the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast saw it, he couldn't help but be surprised. He didn't expect that the death demon beast of the invisible demon beast would strike a desperate blow, but he couldn't stop this room. He even let the door succeed in to himself. Hunters become prey instead. But at this moment, the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast had obtained the crystal core of the A-level demon fire demon beast, and indeed it was no longer an ordinary A-level demon fire demon beast. At this time, he could also quickly launch a defense, directly twisting his body to form a difficult angle, and began to spew flames from his mouth. The fusion of water and fire, staged again. The audience on the screen reacted slowly, and even directly thought about the file, as if they had just missed dozens of seconds, completely unable to keep up with the development of the plot. Sleeper. What happened? He didn't even die, and he launched a counterattack. How can it seem that in the blink of an eye, the situation of the war has changed dramatically again? I just saw it, and it suddenly disappeared again, and then appeared in another place, and attacked two A-level demon fire demon beasts at the same time. My eyes are spent, and my heart has mentioned the throat eyes. Fortunately, the door has been successfully reversed. Looking at the battle between the titles, without a pair of eyes with top dynamic vision, plus a big heart, it's really easy to go wrong. At this time, the Dragon Kingdom people finally put their hearts at ease again. It seems that their Dragon Kingdom players are still safe and sound. Back 20. At this time, the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast was also uncertain in his heart when facing the attack between the doors. It is said that the flames of the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast should be enough to instantly engulf this tiny column of water between the doors. But this column of water looked small, but it carried an extremely terrifying impact force. If he was defenseless, it was estimated that it would even be enough to penetrate his body directly. Under the impact of this water break, the fire pillar of the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast was broken all the way by it. It wasn't until it came to its body that it could use its own flames to attack and temporarily block the attack between the doors. Of course, the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast was still full of confidence in taking down the door. Just now, it was only because he was coldly calculated that he could not use all his strength to deal with this blow, so that he was now so passive. However, as long as he is fully confronted, he is definitely not his opponent. His eyes were full of fierce light, and his whole body was suddenly fierce. Having just absorbed the power of the Grade A demon fire demon beast, his control power also soared like never before. The tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast had never possessed such a huge amount of power before. Very well, that would be the first subordinate undead that would be generated after he gained his power. Therefore, at this moment, the mouth of the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast spewed out more fiery pillars of fire, continuing to confront the waves. The tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast attacked the door while looking at his companion to see if it had saved him. At this time, the invisible demon fire demon beast's head was split in the head, and the entire head was almost cut in two on the spot. Even if you don't die, it is estimated that you will not live long. And it was precisely because of his monstrous hatred for the door that he still did not die on the spot with one breath. Seeing that Uzumaki did not die because of himself, but finally dodged the fierce blow of the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast, his heart was extremely sad and indignant. He must be killed. The invisible demon fire demon beast used the last of its strength to finish saying this sentence in the language of the demon beast to the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast. However, before the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast could respond, he saw the situation on the side, but his hands were quietly sealed expressionlessly. After countless flashes of white light, the body of the invisible demon fire demon beast exploded. Boom! The invisible demon fire demon beast looked shocked and inexplicably ended up with hatred. And the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast was also suddenly blown up tens of meters away, and in mid-air, it finally reacted, and this explosion was generated from the invisible demon fire demon beast. This must be a masterpiece in the middle of the door. That's right, when Uzumaki had just killed the invisible demon fire demon beast, he was not only fake, pretending to reveal flaws, waiting for the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast to attack, while also leaving several detonators on the body of the invisible demon fire demon beast. This is an offensive spell that can be prepared in advance. It is equivalent to sealing the fire ninjutsu directly inside the paper. It can explode at a certain time, suddenly at a time when the enemy is not expecting. Under a series of arrangements in the doorway, the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast was finally successfully attacked by the door. There was blood all over his body, and the injuries were not shallow. And at this time, seeing the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast that had been blown away, he continued to rush up, ready to strike at it. At the same time, the pillar on the other side finally arrived here, and was about to join forces with the door to attack the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast. It seemed that the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast would undoubtedly die in the face of the combined blow of the two masters. But in the next step, around the body of the tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast, the flames surged wildly, and even turned into several pillars of heavenly fire. Then shoot out in all directions. The interpillar and interpillar seas, both quickly dodging, there is no need to fight these indiscriminate attacks. The tiger-shaped demon fire demon beast took advantage of this time to immediately begin to crash to the ground. I also couldn't care less about how embarrassed I was to be hurt by the detonator between the doors, and quickly swallowed the dead invisible demon fire demon beast directly into my mouth. He was in a hurry, so he didn't care how elegant it was, he swallowed it directly, and then began to digest the body of this A-level demon fire demon beast. The most important thing, of course, is the essence in its body, the crystal nucleus condensed by the A-level demon fire demon beast all his life. This is also the source of energy for the A-level fierce beast itself. Now that it's dead, maximize its value. Rest assured, I will bring your hatred to the ashes of these abominable human beings. And at this time, after seeing this scene, the audiences from all over the world were also stunned. What the hell? This A-level fierce beast actually ate all his own partners. It doesn't look right, it's not the power to devour your companions. Mom, this grade A beast seems to be starting to get bigger and bigger. It didn't take long. A voice resounded through the battlefield. National embargo tips. Dragon Kingdom players encounter S-class fierce beasts, S-level demon beasts. After reaching the S-level, the demon fire demon beast can already have the power comparable to that of the tailed beast. Enough to despise all mortals, it will have the power of complete destruction, easily destroying all fierce beasts below S-level. In the picture, this tiger-shaped demon beast did become even larger. It also fused the characteristics of the other two dead A-class demon fire demon beasts. And more crucially, the A-level demon fire demon beast has achieved a qualitative breakthrough, rather than simply adding up the strength of the three A-level demon fire demon beasts. The powerful aura on its body shot straight into the sky, completely comparable to the dozens of A-level demon fire demon beasts before it. This is the power of the S-class demon fire demon beast. After learning such information, the audience was even more amazed. The Dragon Kingdom people even spat out one after another. Oh my god, this A-level fierce beast still has the setting of becoming S-level. This is too outrageous. Or comparable to the legendary tailed beast power? That's too much, isn't it? It's a lie to us. Before said good, there are 3 A-class fierce beasts. Of course, people from other countries seized the opportunity to taunt the dragon people. Ha ha ha, you Dragon Kingdom players are definitely going to be finished. You have absolutely no way to deal with it. Before, I was lucky enough to let you kill the A-class fierce beast, but the next S-level fierce beast will definitely kill you in a second. It seems that fate is on the side of us Europas. I don't want you to live, ha ha ha, let you be so good, see so many fierce beasts still rushing over, this is good. S-class beasts can appear. It is estimated that there are few S-class fierce beasts in the entire national transport embargoed land novice village. Except for the nine-tailed demon fox of the Beacon Nation's father, no one can deal with the S-class fierce beast at all. At this time, the foreigners are all falling into the well, and their hearts are not to mention how happy they are. At this time, the party saw the $level fierce beast between the pillars. At last, he showed a frenzy of extreme excitement. Haha, I can finally loosen my muscles and bones further. It seems that I was able to get the S-class beast slaying record earlier than Suban, which is really lucky. He never seemed to worry that he would not be able to defeat this S-level beast, but this made the Dragon Kingdom audience all feel ashamed. Although the pillar did defeat the A-class fierce beast before. However, the classification of the level of the fierce beasts is very strict. Even if there is a difference of one level, it is as difficult to cross as a chasm. They really didn't dare to be confident, thinking that the pillar could successfully deal with the S-level fierce beast. Previously, when fighting a B-level fierce beast, the pillar could be abused casually, but when the A-level fierce beast was fought, it was already a difficult battle to win. If you change it to this S-level fierce beast, I am afraid it will be very difficult. Even if it is beaten, it is very likely. They no longer had the belief in defeating the beast between the pillars. Just hoping that the pillar and the door can escape, it is already good. Uzumaki asked next to the pillar, Big brother, do you think you can deal with this S-level beast? The pillar was still laughing loudly and habitually, and did not take him seriously at all. Rest assured, after I found myself in the national transport embargo, I was really more and more courageous in the Vietnam War, and after killing this A-level fierce beast, I felt that I had further recovered my peak strength. As soon as the words fell, there was no more nonsense between the pillars, and directly folded his hands again to launch the most powerful limb energy that he could use in his current state. After all, it was an S-class fierce beast, so there was no need for him to try more. And fighting is the best way to grow between the pillars at this time. It is also the fastest way to adapt to the energy operation mode of this national embargo and restore the peak strength as soon as possible. Mushu Mulong Technique. Using this wooden escape technique that could absorb the tailed beast chakra, the original pillar was enough to suppress the 9 tails controlled by the spot. In the shocked eyes of countless audiences. Boom. Again, dense branches and vines rose from the ground and grew wildly on the surface. The magnitude of the earthquake is even more earth-shattering than before. These branches and vines are already visible to the naked eye, and they quickly glue together and combine into the form of a green dragon. Roar. As soon as this green dragon formed, it roared and roared, quickly flew over, and began to wrap around this S-level fierce beast. This S-level demon fire demon beast also had a big change in face at this time. He didn't expect that such a weak human being could use a larger attack at this time. Moreover, this wooden dragon even hides mysterious abilities that can rob him of his own power. It's so weird and scary. The S-level demon fire demon beast felt that the power he had stolen from his companions was quickly beginning to drain rapidly at this moment. Big. Episode 76, Playing Dead. Back. Uchiha's playing degree sword. At this moment, the wood dragon technique between the pillars made the S-level demon fire demon beasts have to treat them very carefully as if they were facing a great enemy. It also set off a fierce storm in its heart. Damn. It had only worked hard to gain the power of an S-level fierce beast for the first time, how could it fail in the first battle? This abominable dragon must be defeated. The S-level demon fire demon beast, which was extremely unconvinced in his heart, let out a roar of anger and began to engage in a fierce battle with the wooden dragon. Seeing this scene between the pillars and the S-class demon fire demon beast, the audience was shocked again. Ah, what the hell? Is this a new skill between columns? Even if you summon trees, this can also make a dragon? This is completely unscientific. Is this a dragon made of trees? Once again, you are beyond the scope of scientific explanation. Forget it, science or something, does it matter? After I saw the battle between Suban and the pillar, I didn't know what science was. Good fellow, it looks like it's really alive. Much bigger than the water dragon before the one Uzumaki. But I think there's still a bit of a hanging between the columns. Yes, burning wood, no matter how you think, you can easily win. Well, this is also an S-level demon fire demon beast. Of course, the emergence of new moves between the pillars still gives countless people a shot of cardiotonic agent. You must know that Suban and the pillar are mortal enemies. If they can be compared, at least the pillar between them will not be much worse than Suban. Suban can fight the A-class fierce beast so easily. I hope that the pillar can also reach the same level as Suban. The Dragon Country audience once again began to pray silently for the Dragon Country players. And in the national embargo, Suban on the other side was also a little surprised at this time. Unexpectedly, I actually encountered an S-class fierce beast between the pillars. That's not good. If I let him meet first, then I won't have to lose to him. Where do I find an S-class beast? That's really boring. I originally thought that I would have an advantage in killing the A-level beast first, but I didn't expect that he found the S-class as soon as he found it. Hearing Suban's complaining, the Dragon Nation's complaining heart became heavier. Isn't the focus of this Suban a little wrong? Gee, is our big guy Suban stupid? At this time, I'm still thinking about playing with the inter-column. The big guy Suban is still thinking about winning the battle, so he doesn't worry about the pillars and the door at all. Although the Gundam of the Suban gangster before could kill the A-level fierce beast in a second, it was really difficult to say about the upper S-level fierce beast. Although you are all very skilled, are you too calm? Good villains are also S-class fierce beasts, so there is no row of noodles at all? Although it is cool to watch our Suban and others abuse dishes, the S-class fierce beast can have to fight hard. Don't talk about defeating the S-class fierce beast. If I can escape smoothly, I have already burned high incense. At this time, the Dragon Kingdom people felt that they were once again like in the past, and their hearts began to flutter and jump wildly. The heart is going to jump out of the throat. To see the battle between the pillars and others, they really have to worry about it from time to time. In the national embargo, Suban didn't worry much about the pillars anymore, but focused on the reward he had just received. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing 3 A-class pole eaters and gaining a 180 bonus of life force attribute points. At the same time, because the contestant Suban bound the Dragon Kingdom national fortune, he gave back a reward of 18 points to the vitality of the Dragon Country people. This information will naturally cause the carnival of all the Dragon Nation people again. However, Suban did not care much about the regular rewards of these countries' embargoes. At this time, Suban first began to check the degree of expectation on his body. After just battling so many B-level pole eaters and A-level pole eaters, his level of playing has increased from 55% to 59.9%. He also felt that the Uchiha spot ability in his body had once again soared. He adds additional new abilities. The Art of Wooden Escape, between the Thousand Hands Pillar. This indicates that he should have fused the interstitial cells by this time. In a way, it is to obtain the power of the divine universe. As the reincarnation of Indra, Uchiha must be combined with the reincarnation of Asura, that is, the power between the pillars, in order to further obtain the power of the 6 levels. It's the legendary Eye of Reincarnation. But at this time, Suban was still a little confused. Because he feels that the degree of play he feels has been elevated to a bottleneck. If you want to continue to ascend upwards, it is difficult to ascend to the heavens. It seems that something is missing, making it impossible for me to improve further. Could it be some key and important event? After studying the Uchiha Spot template, Suban soon began to understand. This Uchiha Spot template he had obtained really couldn't be improved simply by fighting. Or do a little more that matches Uchiha's temperament or experience. So what should you do to further break through the bottleneck? Suban began to think seriously. In the original book, there was an earth-shattering battle of the End Valley between Uchiha Ban and the Stem Pillar. But here, there should be no way to reproduce it. Suban and the pillar would be there for a while and a half, and there was no way to restore the top state at that time. Suban can only use other means to complete the role of Uchiha Ban as much as possible. Of course, as long as there is a little similarity. Nor will it be completely reproduced. He began to think of Uchiha Ban's past experience. In the Battle of the Valley of the End, he successfully took a bite of the flesh between the pillars and swallowed it to obtain the inter-column cells. He also uses Izanagi to create a fake death, to conceal it between the pillars and the door. After that, Uchiha began to develop silently, constantly fusing the immortal power between the pillars. Later, after a long wait, Uchiha Ban officially fused Indra and Asura before he died of old age, and was able to open the Eye of Reincarnation. The Eye of the God of the 6 Immortals. Of course, Uchiha Ban is also old and weak, and can only regain peak strength after death, by means of temporary death. After that, he also experienced the rebirth of the dirt and the 2 resurrections of the Outer Path Reincarnation innate technique. After so much lengthy process, Uchiha Ban slowly regained his full strength and was promoted to a master of the 6th level. At this thought, Suban quickly woke up. According to the requirements of the Uchiha template on his body, he must repeat these experiences similarly, or at least to a certain extent. Dead. Not broken, not standing. Thinking of this, Suban thought about it. At the same time, I can't help but laugh darkly. In this national embargo, do you really have a chance to complete these plays? If you find an opportunity, do you really have to fake death once? Of course, these thoughts only flashed in Suban's mind. He had just finished killing 3 Class A beasts, and he still had some things to do. That's to clean up the B-class beasts here. Suban temporarily dropped the thousands of thoughts in his mind, and looked at the B-level fierce beast next to him with indifferent eyes. Bayuekue was still in the process of trying to slay the B-level fierce beast. Countless B-level fierce beasts saw that their main hearts and bones were all killed, and they all lost their hearts to resist and collapsed one after another. Even if they had the setting of the ferocious beast raging area, they didn't dare to continue to fight with a strong person like Suban. Boom! Taking advantage of the opportunity of countless B-level pole eaters who were terrified and had no fighting spirit, Bayuekue also killed many B-level pole eaters. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Bayuekue for successfully killing the B-class pole eater and gaining 3 times the points of 15,000. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Bayuekue for successfully killing the B-class pole eater. Get 3x 15,000 points. A steady stream of rewards is coming. However, Bayuekue's strength was still limited, and he naturally couldn't catch up with the B-class pole eaters in the distance. Countless B-level pole eaters were scattered and fled, and it was basically impossible to kill them all at the same time. But Suban naturally will not miss this opportunity. Although the B-class pole eater was not bad, there was no need to waste the points that could be brushed, and Suban also wanted to test his newly acquired wooden escape technique along the way. If nothing else, just play. There are fun ninjutsu not to play, and it does not fit the character of Uchiha Ban. So Suban immediately began to seal his hands. Wooden escape. The art of multiple wooden doppelgangers, boom. Only to see that from Suban's body, countless pieces of wood suddenly appeared. Moreover, it began to gradually change into a human form, separating from the body of Suban and becoming another Suban. These wooden doppelgangers are much more powerful than ordinary shadow doppelgangers. And it's even harder to tell. The first time he used this multiple wooden doppelganger, Suban used only 11. He's happy with that. These wooden doppelgangers can use a lot of their abilities, and their strength can completely crush these B-level pole eaters. Under Suban's order, these doppelgangers all went out and began to run in all directions, trying to kill all the B-level pole eaters that could be killed. These wooden trees whizzed and ran everywhere. And each one showed the strength that Suban had before. Seeing Suban's doppelganger, countless pole eaters were completely frightened. They were not mistaken, Suban actually had so many. This is all a magical way of fighting, I have never heard of it. Who else but the gods would possess such terrifying and eerie powers? Before a Su spot, it made countless A-class pole eaters pay the price. So many of them add up, to destroy these B-level pole eaters, isn't it a matter of hand? At this thought, they did not have any resistance at all, and managed to disappear into Suban's pursuit range as soon as possible. But everything they did was in vain. If it was just a Suban, it might be very tricky to destroy so many B-level pole eaters at the same time. But with the help of so many wooden doppelgangers, it was a breeze. A few Subanes began to use ninjutsu. Fire escape dragon yen singing technique. Fire escape, fire extinguishing technique. Yikes. Countless gigantic flames enveloped them in an instant. There are also Subama clones, who also directly solve these B-level pole eaters. Death Scythe, a B-class pole eater. The Flame Cluster Fan is also a B-class pole eater. Even Subamu's body could directly kick a B-level pole eater to death with one foot. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing the B-class pole eater. Get 3x points reward 15,000. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for successfully killing the B-class pole eater. Get 3x 15,000 points. Congratulations. Suban also began the Peerless mode at this time, easily harvesting the remaining B-class pole eaters. At this time, Bayuekue couldn't help but be stunned. What the heck? She didn't read it wrong, Suban actually appeared so many at once. What skills are these? This is not something that ordinary cultivation can explain. It won't be a clone developed by science and technology. Bayuekue, who used to be a scientist, certainly knew a lot about all kinds of cutting-edge technologies, but she had never heard of such a powerful clone, and every one of them could burst out with such earth-shattering power. Such a Suban. I can't think of any words that can describe him. It can be said that it is a godlike power. Bayuekue's heart was shocked, and he could only describe Suban like this. As for the audience in the live broadcast room, it is even more completely frozen in expression. They simply can't imagine what is going on. I'm not mistaken, there are so many Suban, what the hell is going on? Suban's Gundam ability before has made me feel very powerful and incredible, not at all immortal power, which is beyond the scope of science can explain. You can only explain it with mystical illusions, these are all different FA identities. This is definitely a god, who else but a god can have this mythical doppelganger spell? Is this a young god, or a yin god? Does it really make sense for any of the Daos to grow up? I've forgotten about scientific ideas, and that's the power of God. What else is there to analyze with science? This kind of thing is not scientific at all. Countless foreigners have completely collapsed their mentality. They were all angry and corrupt, insulting Suban and others. You Dragon Kingdom people have indeed been cheating all the time. What explanation can there be for this? You should find me a reason. Our lighthouse country's cloning technology is not so strong. Is this Suban really human? It wouldn't be a cloned robot, otherwise, how could it be a Spitfire and a Gundam again? That's right, this may be the character of our lighthouse country, which is the robot technology that only our lighthouse country can have. Of course, these people can only be incompetent roars. It was impossible to let Suban and others shed a hair. The people of the Dragon Kingdom didn't bother to argue with it. They were all overjoyed to watch Suban's brushing action, not to mention how happy they were. And at the time of Suban's wooden body killing. The other side at this point. Pillar Jian continued to fight against the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast in front of him. When the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast encountered this powerful enemy, after a long battle, it was furious, roaring with rage one after another, constantly spewing out extremely powerful flames from its mouth. At the same time, he also tried his best to slap the wooden dragon with his body, trying to get rid of his entanglement. However, when such a flame came to the wooden dragon, it did not have much effect. Because it will not be long before more and more branches and vines continue to grow vigorously and attach to the wooden dragon. It's really like wildfires burn endlessly, and the spring breeze blows and grows again. Moreover, from the wooden dragon's body, the fluctuations of countless mysterious energies began to loom. The wooden dragon was indeed constantly absorbing the power in the body of the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast. This made the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast shocked and angry. Originally, he only absorbed the strength of his companions and became strong for the time being, and his strength was not very stable. At this time, these forces are rapidly draining. This feeling makes him extremely angry and bitter. It took so little hard to gain so much power, couldn't even such a weak human being defeat it? How could that be? The sad and indignant S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast began to exert all its strength and launch a counterattack. In his mouth, a huge flame cannonball was immediately condensed, ready to be launched suddenly. At this time, the pillars can still look at this novelty with great interest. Oh? Is it something similar to Tailed Beast Jade? It looks quite interesting, I don't know if it is flashy or not. At this time, the pillars also held the idea of having fun, and they were full of interest in it. Looking at the expression of the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast, it was a bit like looking at a pet. Episode 77, Subanju is too strong. Forbidden Land was forced to change the rules. The arena is open. Subsequently, facing the flame cannonballs of the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast, the wooden dragon let out a dragon groan and resounded through the clouds. It continued to strengthen its entanglement with the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast, and the absorption of its energy was very fast, and the flame cannonballs of the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast were condensed. Suddenly shot out. Boom. The explosion sounded like thunder, which directly shook the minds of many viewers. Flames also swept through the wood dragon's whole body. After a burst of explosion, the wooden dragon resisted damage at close range, and even blocked the attack of this shell. It's just that the scales on the body are all damaged. But this does not have much effect on the interstitial at all. Pillar Jian still continued to manipulate the wooden dragon technique, making it more and more entangled with the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast. The S-class Demon Fire Demon Beast felt its own strength and quickly lost. On the one hand, he also felt his own flesh being desperately squeezed by the wooden dragon. Both in terms of physical strength and energy, they are at a disadvantage in all aspects. This S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast could only raise an eyebrow and stare at it, and it had to stay like a sword, and its heart was filled with shame and anger. Is there really no way to defeat the pillars? Does that make sense? In vain, he kept firing one artillery attack after another. Before the screen, countless viewers were completely dumbfounded. Although this S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast is indeed strong, our pillars are still holding up. He is strong, and the breeze blows on the hill, although this wooden dragon doesn't seem to bite, but the S-level Demon Fire Demon Beast has no way to take it. I was also worried that Suban might easily solve the inter-column. But now it seems that they are really chess opponents, and it is difficult to distinguish between victory and defeat. I don't know what an earth-shattering duel will be when the blue giant and the green dragon meet. At this time, the Dragon Kingdom people can finally relax their hearts a little. It seems that Pillar Jian can really defeat this S-level demon fire demon beast. The pillar that can be compared with Suban is indeed not a waste of time. So the Dragon Kingdom people were still in a good mood and began to discuss other things with great interest. For example, Suban, the comparison of combat strength between the pillars and the door. Haha, I suddenly wondered, the fire and water between Suban and the door, who wins and who loses? Can the water gun between the doors restrain Suban's flames? I don't think so. The wood used between the columns is not afraid of fire. It still depends on their ability to fight double thousands. In the face of absolute strength, attribute restraint does not work at all. Haha, with that said, I'm still looking forward to the competition between these people. As he spoke, some people even began to have a whim. The relationship between the pillars and Suban does not seem to be a simple relationship between the enemy and ourselves. They also have common ideals and may have fought side by side. I think the pillars may be actively developing wood-based skills to use for Suban. After all, flame is the best incendiary. Before Suban was able to burn the B-class Fierce Beast Dream Taper so quickly, it was also related to the trees between the pillars. The presence of flammables can speed up the extension of the flame. After hearing these conjectures, the crowd was even more suspicious. There are also more and more interesting conjectures about the relationship between Suban and the pillar. How can it be very warm when you say this, haha? The flame is not to restrain the tree, but to cooperate with the tree. It seems that Suban and the pillar are the best joint CP. I don't know what Suban and the two brothers between the pillars are doing to make trouble, haha. I'm really looking forward to them coming together and fighting together. At this moment, the Dragon Nation people did not feel that they were playing with the terrier at all. They even think that this is a very reasonable guess. At a time when everyone was talking about it, the contest between the wooden dragon and the S-level demon fire demon beast had also reached its final stage. The S-class demon fire demon beast created several huge spiral-shaped flames and surrounded itself. These flames are constantly gathered together and eventually condensed into a fireball similar to the sun. Blah blah blah. With this final desperate blow, the S-level demon fire demon beast smashed the entire large fireball directly into the wooden dragon. For a moment, the sea of fire boiled and roared, pressing towards the wooden dragon cover. Huge mushroom clouds, soaring into the sky. Shocking. Audiences in dragon kingdoms and other countries held their breath and watched the scenes in the picture with full concentration. My heart is full of ups and downs, looking forward to the ideal result in my heart. In the end, after a burst of smoke cleared, everyone saw the outcome of this victory and defeat. To the great disappointment of the other dragon kingdom Kuriko, the S-class demon fire demon beast had fallen to the ground breathlessly, only out of the chi, not in. The wooden dragon between the pillars, although badly damaged, continued to stand. Not to mention that pillars were only using a ninjutsu at this time, and they also had enough power to see. Immediately after, a voice began to spread throughout the national embargo and the major live broadcast rooms. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom players Pillar Mama for successfully killing the S-level demon fire demon beast. Dragon Kingdom became the first country to kill S-class beasts. The 4 contestants of the Dragon Kingdom, Suban, Pillar, Akira, and Bayuekue, will receive S-class treasure chests. Kill the S-class beast, reward 30,000 points. Because kill in the ferocious area, get 3 times the points, a total of 90,000 points. At present, Dragon Country is ranked first in the national game standings, with a total of 889,000 points. So next, the cheers of the Dragon Nation people immediately rang out. Ha ha ha, our Dragon Kingdom players, sure enough, once again defeated the strong enemy. From D, C, B, A, and now to S-class beasts, all of them are the first kills of our Dragon Kingdom players. I don't know why, I don't seem to be too excited, after all, we have long been used to it, ha ha ha. Don't go Versailles, how uncomfortable it would be for foreigners to hear. I'm very happy to say it now, but when I watched the battle between the pillars just now, which person wasn't worried, ha ha ha. Ha ha. Our Dragon Nation players once again completed the mission brilliantly and did not disappoint us. With so many powerful players, we dragon people can be so at ease, and the more some people think about it, the more secretly frightened they become. I remembered again what Suban and Pillar Jian had said, that they were not at their peak, and now it seems that they are really telling the truth. Mom, they've all reached this point, and I don't know if they've reached their strongest state. I think it's already the strongest state, right? This is already a godlike level, and then strengthened. That's fine, don't we all have to destroy the earth directly? So how else can other countries play? Ha ha ha. At a time when countless Dragon Nation people were partying, all foreigners and foreign players were completely dumbfounded. The sound of killing between the pillars reverberated throughout the embargo. Countless players didn't know how to feel at this time, they just felt that their hearts had been completely numb. Is this still a competition between countries? This should not be a one-man show of the Dragon Kingdom players, their killing sounds have not stopped at all from the beginning to the present. What else can such an opponent play? Before there was a B-class fierce beast, it was so unattainable for them. As for dealing with A-level fierce beasts, or even S-level fierce beasts, they didn't dare to think about it. Then they still want to fight against the Dragon Kingdom people, it is really a fantasy. Remembering what I said before, all the people joined forces against the Dragon Kingdom players, and the foreigners felt afraid for a while. Don't talk about fighting with the Dragon Kingdom people anymore, who mentions who turns the other cheek. Do the Lighthouse people think they are very powerful? Then let them fight it themselves, we still dare not mix it up. Immortals fight, mortals retreat. It's really a lot more exaggerated than the TV series. Isn't it possible that such a world-destroying existence has to be made in mecha films? The existence of Suban and the Pillar, it is estimated that even if it is Godzilla, the Transformers do not dare to fight anything. At this time, see Suban and Pillar show in 2 battlefields. Foreigners are already dumbfounded. Simply close your eyes, don't see the heart is not bothered. As for Suban, he was still in the process of using the wooden doppelganger to solve the B-class pole eater. He was not at all surprised by this. Just a little sorry. Was it actually the Pillar that killed the S-class beast first? Forget it, this time it will be considered good luck between the pillars, but next time I won't give him the chance. And, in a way, it's a good thing. In this way, maybe the pillars can develop a little faster, and the next time we duel, he won't be so far behind. In the face of Suban's words, the Dragon Kingdom audience cheered and cheered, but also laughed and giggled. Sure enough, this is still the way Suban's big guy speaks. It's always so heartfelt, but it's irrefutable. Indeed, at this time, Suban and the pillars are both earth-destroying fighting forces, and I don't know who is the strongest. Although I would love to see the scene of the 2 of them fighting, but before the end of the day, I still hope that they will not fight among themselves, so as not to show others jokes. At a time when countless people were talking about it, Suban, with his own wooden body, had basically eliminated the members of the entire pole-eating beast population. At this time, the situation encountered between the columns is also similar to that of Suban. Countless B-level fire demon beasts scattered in all directions, fleeing from the slaughter between the pillars and the door. After all, even the unprecedented S-level fire demon beasts of their entire clan were defeated by the hands of the pillars, so did they still have to fight? Or escape is the only way. Stay in the Green Mountains without worrying about firewood. Of course, their ideas are also unrealized. Because both the pillars and the pillars blocked their way. Multiple shadow splitting. Mushu multi-wood splitting technique. Both the gate and the pillar created a dozen doppelgangers and began to intercept these fleeing B-class beasts. This scene once again stunned the audience. What the hell? Even the door room, the pillar room, will actually have this kind of move? It seems that they really have a good relationship, these are all godlike limbs. How are we Dragon Kingdom players all gods? Are they all sun monkeys, and if they pull out a bunch of hairs, they can conjure up a bunch of themselves? Then they are really invincible, haha. It seems that they are all gods, and we dragon people can sit back and relax. With them, we can definitely win the pure victory of all races. Next, Pillar and Pillar and Pillar used their doppelgangers to kill the remaining B-level fire demon beasts, one after another. Even if it was just their doppelgangers, these fire demon beasts could not defeat them at all. So theirs, life also began to be harvested one by one between the pillars and the door. Congratulations to the Dragon Kingdom players, who successfully killed the B-class fierce beast again, and rewarded the Dragon Kingdom with 3 times the points of 15,000 points. Congratulations to the Dragon Kingdom player Pillar, killing the B-class beast again. Bonus triple points, 15,000 points, congratulations. Meanwhile, it was also accompanied by the sound of killing from another battlefield. Congratulations to Dragon Country player Suban, who successfully killed the B-class beast again. Reward Dragon Country 3 times points, 15,000 points. Congratulations to Dragon Country player Suban, it didn't take long. Suban, Pillar and Pillar and Pillar had completely wiped out the fierce beast population in front of him. After doing all this, they also began to take a break. Also sort out the various rewards they have received before. Just as they clicked on the generous reward they had received for killing the beast, another voice sounded. The day is over. Point settlement is now underway. Congratulations to the Dragon Country players for winning the first place in today's point settlement. Reward Dragon Kingdom players Suban, Pillar, Uzumaki, and Bayuekue, 1 S-Class treasure chest. And the point rewards of Dragon Country players were detected, far more than other countries, or even far more than the sum of other countries. At the same time, it has also been detected that the strength gap between the Dragon Country players and the players of other countries is too large, and the national sports embargo will make corresponding adjustments. Give the other weak countries a chance to reverse. Open the National Forbidden Land Arena mode. All countries can start to form teams freely and challenge other countries. Allow the majority to fight the minority. The national embargo will make a corresponding balance of combat strength according to the strength of both sides. Dying in arena mode will not actually cause the player's actual death, but it will also punish the losing player's country accordingly. At the same time, we now give relatively backward players a relief package with rapid progress in strength, so as to narrow the gap between them and the Dragon Kingdom players. Relief packages are being awarded to countries. Tip: the strength of lagging players also needs to pay a price, and it needs to consume the corresponding national luck. The stronger the power gained, the more national chi luck is consumed. And as compensation, the Dragon Kingdom will also obtain resources in accordance with the corresponding mechanism. After hearing this news, countless viewers were completely boiling. This is big news like never before. Even the national embargo recognized the crushing strength of the Dragon Kingdom players, and had to give the weak countries the opportunity to catch up. And this weak country undoubtedly refers to all the countries that are not Dragon countries. At this time, in other countries, the audience was pleasantly surprised. God bless. It seems that our weak strength can finally be improved. Finally, we don't have to be crushed under these hateful Dragon Kingdom people and brutally abused. Before that, we really felt very depressed. Oh my god. The national embargo is finally a little fairer. Well done with the national embargo. I have always made the Dragon Kingdom players so strong before, which is not balanced at all for our game. This arena of the national embargo is definitely also an important opportunity for us to turn the tide. At this time, the people of Longwa also had mixed feelings in their hearts, and they did not know how to evaluate the practice of the national transport embargo. However, everyone can very tacitly start laughing at people in other countries. You other countries are indeed very weak, so the national embargo must pity you. Don't get me wrong, I'm not targeting a few countries, I mean all of you here, it's all rubbish. To give you a relief package is to give alms to a beggar. What's so happy about it shows that the players in your country are really too good. I can't even look at the national transport embargo, ha ha ha. Rest assured, just let you die a little bit better, a little bit decent, you will definitely not be able to beat our Dragon Country players. Don't punch you in the face. Before you laughed at our Dragon Country players for being weak, now you have been abused. It seems that you still have to thank us Dragon Country players. Even if there were an arena, it wouldn't be a problem for a bunch of you to besiege one of us, would it? In front of the immortals, no matter how many mortals, they have no effect. Did you say that our Dragon Country players cheated before? Still saying that the national embargo is unfair? Now it's obviously biased in favor of you. Laugh. Of course, you also have a price. Even if you exhaust the national luck, you will not be able to make up for the gap with our Dragon Country players. The words of the Dragon Kingdom people, the words of the heart. Episode 78 famous scene reappears. Five Nation Alliance vs Bani. World War. Hearing such a mockery from the Dragon people, foreigners were of course very upset in their hearts. But they are really speechless. What the people of the Dragon Kingdom said is indeed the truth. The players in their own countries are too weak, so they have to open such a mode in the national embargo. At this time, they can only pray that the players of their own countries can get a change. Hurry up and gain the power to fight against the Dragon Kingdom players. Otherwise, they would be really ashamed. If after strengthening, the players from all over the world team up to challenge the Dragon Kingdom players together, they will not be able to fight. So what else to play? It is better to obediently admit defeat early, directly submit to the Dragon Kingdom, and recognize the Dragon Kingdom as the old product. At a time of great anticipation, players from all over the world finally began to receive rewards. Where the cherry blossom people are located. For shiny treasure chests fell from the sky. This is their relief chest. After coming to this forbidden land, the Sakura people who have been playing soy sauce are eager to gain more powerful powers. Yamamoto, Hidoro Doihara, Naoki Kamita, and Kanyo Miyamoto all received their own rewards. Yamamoto is the owner of a karate black belt section. Chiba Miyamoto is the national champion of the Sakura National Sumo Wrestling Competition. Naoki Kamita is the top kendo master in the Sakura National Kendo Tournament. Hidoro Toihara is a talented athlete. So the rewards they get are also very much in line with their temperament. Sakura Kunihito Yamamoto Hero gained S-Class Karate abilities, 300 Psychic bonus, 200 Strength bonus, 250 Defense bonus. Naoki Kamita gets. After hearing these messages, and feeling their strength surge suddenly, they were very surprised in their hearts. The hateful dragon people, who are always getting stronger, are finally our turn. It seems that we Cherry Blossom people finally have a chance to rise, ha ha ha. In the past, the Dragon Nation people may have led with some insidious means, but now, we will definitely not give them any chance. They also began to think about strategies for dealing with Dragon Kingdom players. That's right. You say we should unite with other countries and beseech them together. This is not necessary, we must use our own strength to prove that our Cherry Blossom Nation is the best. Naoki Kamita and others are full of ambition at this time, full of confidence in defeating the Dragon Kingdom players. However, for the sake of their players to become stronger, as an equivalent exchange, Sakura Country is also extremely expensive. Soon after, bad news from Sakura Kingdom appeared one after another. Coastal areas, 90% of marine fish resources disappeared. In the entire Cherry Blossom Country, 180% of the forest resources disappeared. There is not a single cherry blossom tree left. The people of the Cherry Blossom Nation, although they are very distressed about this, are also desperately clamoring, saying that they want to fight with the Dragon Nation. And the people of the Dragon Kingdom, who have always been unaccustomed to the Cherry Blossom Country, of course, have also begun to sneer at each other. Gee, isn't this a country where the little days are doing well? I haven't seen you for a long time, and I almost forgot about you. You don't have so many resources, so worry about yourself. We Dragon Kingdom people have been busy dealing with these powerful beasts, as for you Donnying mortals. I'm sorry, none of them are qualified to appear in our sights. What the Dragon Kingdom people said is really not exaggerated. After receiving feedback from the national games, the quality of the people has been significantly improved. To exaggerate a little, it is no longer an ordinary human being. Just like Suban, between the pillars, and by Uekue, they began to move in the direction of Xiaoxian. In terms of height, the average height is 190. Junior high school students win against foreign adult men, not too much at all. While the Dragon Nation and the Sakura people were arguing, other countries were rewarded with them. Where the Iduli players are. For more free Falu novels, https://discord.gg/bpy8hmhp, they opened the relief chests that the system rewarded them. Edo Luis, get the S-Class Demon Fruit, Rustling Fruit. In addition, Luis's speed increases by 250 points, strength increases by 350 points, defense power. This Luis and other idiots, like the Sakura people, have improved their physical qualities together. After receiving such a huge bonus, they were finally able to get excited. I felt that my strength had increased by more than 10 times at once, and I was no longer the ordinary mortal of the past. Before, the Dragon Kingdom players relied on such strength, so they were able to defeat such a powerful A-level fierce beast. Then I think I can do it now, haha. Before that terrible B-level beast, I felt very weak, then I definitely have the ability to fight with the so-called S-level beast. Where are the Dragon Kingdom players? I can't wait to fight them. I'm going to fight 10. Of course, the biggest harvest is Lewis, who is Rustling Fruit. According to the introduction of the National Transport Embargo, everyone knows the strength of this Rustling Fruit. Nature is a devil fruit. The person who eats it can make the constitution turn into sand. Ability to freely create and control sand. And the horror is that the capable person can turn the body into a natural element, so that the body has no entity, a process called elementalization. Allows those with abilities to dodge most physical attacks, energy attacks. That sounds very buggy. Moreover, if you develop the sand fruit to a high level, you can also master the essence of the sand fruit ability, drying up. It can drain the moisture of the contacted object, thus creating a powerful attack effect. In addition, there are also the development of sand to natural disasters and other realms. In this regard, the Italian people are overjoyed. They spoke in online media. As long as you eat this Rustling Fruit, our players can definitely have great power. This is definitely the ability to restrain the Dragon Kingdom players very much. Such strong sand will make it impossible for the trees between the pillars to grow. And the flame of Suban will definitely not work on the sand. The water between the doors may be a little troublesome for Lewis, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Even if there is a real problem, just avoid fighting with the door. Moreover, according to the instructions of the National Transport Embargo, as long as the cultivation reached the point of elementalization, even the physical attack could not play a role against him. Isn't that the equivalent of invincibility? Of course, in the face of their clamor, the Dragon Nation people of course had to fight back well. It's sunny, the rain has stopped, and your Europa country is doing it again? Having suffered so many losses before, isn't it clear? Compared to our Dragon Kingdom players, you are a chasm-like gap. It is not something that can be compensated for by a little foreign object. Our Dragon Kingdom players have been able to achieve a reversal by virtue of their own strength. Do you think that just by relying on a little relief from the national transport embargo, you can achieve a reversal? Don't even think about it. Of course, although the Dragon Kingdom people were verbally dismissive of them, they were still a little uneasy in their hearts. After all, these countries are frantically consuming their own national land resources in exchange for the rapid progress of the players, which will definitely greatly narrow the gap with the Dragon Country players. With so many people united, it is really difficult for the Dragon Country players to say that they will win. Therefore, the people of the Dragon Kingdom also spontaneously organized themselves and ran to collect information from other countries to make authoritative analysis. See if there is a chance to notify the Dragon Nation players. Indeed, among the other great powers, they have received many powerful rewards. The substantial improvement of physical fitness is the most basic. After all, no matter how powerful the skill, it is inseparable from the assistance of the basic ability. And they also get all kinds of strange skills. This is where they can fight a powerful enemy. The other side. John Cow Country players also receive extremely generous rewards. Their players, in addition to the basic physical attribute rewards. There are also powerful top rewards. One is the frozen fruit that contestant Jones obtained, which also belongs to the natural demon fruit. There is also an S-class black magic spell that Merlin obtained. After seeing the introduction of the frozen fruit in the Forbidden Land of the national transport, the people of John Cow Country were all surprised. After taking this frozen fruit, the ability can create ice through the body, and can also turn the touched objects into ice. Like the Sasha fruit, as a natural demon fruit, it is immune to physical attacks and most energy attacks. When the user reaches the peak realm, it can even use absolute zero. And Merlin, who originally possessed black magic, was even more powerful after obtaining this black magic spell. The black magic he had mastered had reached its peak, even to the point of magic. Immortality. No physical means can be used to destroy Merlin's body. You can also sign a contract with the undead and destroy your enemies directly with a curse. Seeing such a reward, the people of John Cow Country were very satisfied. Haha, don't think about being the boss. Compared with us John Cow Country people, it is not worth mentioning at all. The so-called bug-like devil fruit of Iduli, we also have frozen fruit can freeze everything, definitely not worse than Sasha fruit, and our magic is also more powerful, and we will certainly be able to defeat these clumsy oriental imitators. Although this magic may be a little evil, there is no problem at all against the evil Dragon Kingdom players. I have no idea how our Merlin can be defeated. According to the information, no matter what kind of damage he suffers, he will not die. As long as he is given a certain amount of time, he can make the injured flesh heal quickly. Even if the head is cut off and smashed into powder, it can be slowly recovered. After seeing these strange abilities, the Ha Long people couldn't help but complain. Why are these foreigners so evil? Our Dragon Kingdom players have to deal with them, but it is also quite difficult. I'm afraid they'll use some crooked ways to conspire against Suban and others for success. However, as long as Suban, Pillar, Gate and Bayukue get together, I believe they are an absolutely invincible combination. Of course, what the Dragon Nation people wanted seemed to be really unrealized. At this time, all the players from all over the world were transferred to different rooms in the different dimensional space. It is no longer the former dangerous national embargo. Moreover, the national embargo also opens a multifunctional chat group to facilitate the exchange of players from all over the world. Because they had already acted separately before, Suban, Bayukue, and the Pillar Room and the Gate Room were all teleported to two different rooms. Therefore, if Suban and Zhu wanted to communicate, they could only start communicating remotely. In the chat group inside the Dragon Kingdom, Bayukue began to ask, "Are we going to start a team? In this way, we can all be together." Of course, the column was excited, and hurriedly said that it was good. Oh well. Let's play together. To be able to team up with Suban and fight with other teams, he was excited to think about it. Hatsuma also began to analyze seriously. Yes, in this arena, we will encounter challenges from various countries at any time, and we must be together. In this arena, as long as they all agree with each other, countless teams can be teamed together. And when challenging other teams, the challenged party can't refuse. That's why the people of the Europa League are so arrogant. However, hearing the proposal to form a team, Suban immediately coldly refused. If you want to team up with Bayukue, you can do it, but you don't have to pull me along. Joke. With the personality of Uchiha Ban, still teaming up with others? Do you still want to improve your level of playing? And after that, with Suban's familiarity with this game mechanism, he immediately began to think about it. If there is an invitation to form a team, there should also be an option to disband the team, or to go it alone. Let me look for it. Oh, found it. Suban immediately disbanded from teaming up with Bayuekue and came to another time space. All the Dragon Kingdom people. Bayuekue, who was still around Suban, immediately had a question mark on his face. What the heck? Suban actually directly broke away from himself from the team. Did he hate himself like this? Are you so weak? It was not so surprising that the pillar saw the situation, which was indeed the proper character of his best friend. Even his own best friend had a hard time fighting with him. What about Bayuekue? Ban, then you alone should be careful, don't fight and can't win others, at that time, it will become a joke, haha. Suban still maintained an indifferent look. Between the pillars, I don't need you to worry. I'm just worried that you won't be too weak, and I'll save you when the time comes. If you solve these foreigners, maybe I will fight you directly and end your wish. There was a faint smile between the pillars. Oh well. Spot, I'm waiting for you. Bayuekue, you still team up with me and Akima. Bayuekue heard this and had to directly agree. She looked at Suban with a grudge, and then, under the guidance of the mysterious force, she teleported directly to the side of the pillar and the door. And at this time, seeing Suban's confident appearance, people in other countries were of course very unhappy. This dragged Suban to the point of not being able to do it. It is really unpleasant. Are you looking down on other countries? Then don't blame us for being rude to you. At that time, we in the Europa League will be the first to deal with you, and see if you dare to be so arrogant. Let you see how difficult we are to deal with when we become stronger. In the real world, many people began to think about how to deal with the Dragon Kingdom players. So at this time, many people have hit the idea on the single Suban. Although Suban is indeed powerful, but the people between the pillars and the door are also not weak, and they all have all kinds of strange means. So Suban alone, this may be the best person to deal with, right? At this time, especially the high-level officials in foreign countries, they are seriously discussing and thinking about how they should target the Dragon Country players. The Dragon Runner is very powerful at this time. There's no doubt about it. Otherwise, the national transport embargo would not open this national transport arena and give the opportunity for countries to unite. If this is the case, then they must also cherish the opportunity to defeat Suban and others. Needless to say, the Sakura people and the Lighthouse people are very eager to play against the Dragon Country players. But they had just been inexplicably teleported to this arena, and they really weren't suitable for an immediate shot without understanding the situation. And the top brass of these countries have also used up the opportunity of bullet screen hints. It is also not convenient for their players to make accurate judgments about their own and the strength of the Dragon Kingdom. Therefore, the most foolish thing at this time is the Europa Alliance, which has countless countries and is relatively close in relations. Violate. Especially seeing the rewards of the players of the Europa League, they are full of confidence again. At least once, you have to try against the Dragon Kingdom players. And in this national sports arena, the death of the players will not really die, although it will also allow the bound countries to get the punishment of reduced resources. At least it can bear it. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a waste of their national fortune to expend such a huge amount of national fortune? Therefore, the top level of the country within the Europa Alliance immediately began to convey orders. The Europa Alliance, led by the Five Power Alliance, issued a challenge to Suban. Episode 79: The Five Great Powers Allied Forces? Just grit, let's dance. So next, the top brass of the Europa Alliance soon began to hold remote meetings to discuss the alliance. Several countries with powerful players have strongly advocated challenging Dragon Country players, especially against Suban, who has fallen behind. Countries that think that the Europa League has joined forces and have a chance to defeat the Dragon Nation players have all expressed their desire to join the battle. And the other weak Europa countries, even if they are not willing to join the ranks led by the coalition of the five major powers, but under the coercion and inducement, they have to agree. If these weak countries have any objections, the Gaul Chicken country and other powerful countries will certainly quickly send troops to fight them. So under the various complicated diplomatic means, the Europa Alliance team has been established by and large. In the top of the national hierarchy of the Europa League. Those who are qualified to send bullet screens to contact their own players, start contacting their own players immediately. After contacting their own players, they all used the shortest and most efficient language to inform them that they were going to form a joint army to deal with the Dragon Kingdom players. The first is to deal with Suban. And even if they are not eligible to send bullet screens, in the national games arena, players from all over the world can communicate with each other, after a pass of 10 or 10 passes. A huge team of Europa Leagues, finally officially formed. Because the Gallic Chicken Country, the John Cow Country, the Germanic Country, the Washboard Duck, and the Italy all agreed to challenge the Dragon Nation players. So they are also very proud to call it the Five Powers Alliance. Think you can easily ravage Dragon Country players? So at this moment, the National Fortune Arena. Countless people from the Europa League are slowly uniting. At the same time, countries communicate their capabilities to the allies in order to exchange information. After the sacrifice of the National Fortune just now, the players of the Gall Chicken Country also reaped a lot. Although the sea-level Fierce Beast Ice and Snow War Horse obtained before has been damaged by 18 heads, all of them can now be upgraded to B-level Fierce Beasts. After fierce bargaining, they sold it to other weak countries that needed mounts at a certain cost. At the same time, the Gallic Chicken Kingdom also received an additional 5 A-class Ice War Horses, and even an S-class Ice War Horse. Use this as a mount for their core players. They were very satisfied with this, and felt that their chivalry could be carried forward again. As long as a round of charge comes down, no one will be their opponent. Definitely before being cut off by them. And the contestants of the Gall Chicken Kingdom also get 3 character cards: Dragon Knight S-Class character card, Paladin S-Class character card, Undead Knight S-Class character card. As long as you use these cards, you can get the Blessing of Mysterious Power, and you can have super conventional strength in an hour. After seeing these rewards, the people of the Gall Chicken Country also cheered. Our Gallic Chicken Country team wants to be the strongest knight team in the world. Let them see our chivalry. Our Dragon Knights are the most powerful warriors, our dragons are the most powerful dragons, and the dragons of the East are no better than us. I see that the speed and strength of the players in our country are indeed far more than they are, and they are definitely not worse than the players of the Dragon Country. They did reach beyond mortals. As long as you open the Dragon Knight, Paladin, and Undead Knight states, you can slash down with a knife and crack the landslide, and the Dragon Kingdom players are no more than that. Of course, the Dragon Kingdom people were still dismissive of this. They continued to run and laugh at their country. Cut. The Gallic Chicken Country players have only become a little stronger, but they have spoiled you. We, the players of the Dragon Kingdom, have already had such strength before, and you can only have it now. You should still hurry up and look at the video of our Dragon Nation fighting the Fierce Beasts, and then think about whether you can fight the S-level Fierce Beasts, and then think about whether you want to fight with our players. For a time, these Gaulish chickens and dragons engaged in a fierce battle of speech among the players of the Washing Duck. They also receive extremely powerful rewards. One of the contestants directly get Quake. The national embargo introduced this, Quake, a weapon with a rating of SS level. Its hammerhead is partially forged in the stars, and the handle part is made of wood from the World Tree, which is incredibly strong. The inside of the hammer can store a large amount of magic energy, lightning, flames, the energy of stellar explosions, and even the destructive energy fluctuations emitted by the opponent, etc., which can be absorbed and stored, and then directly returned to the opponent. The person who obtains this hammer of Thor can direct lightning to a target of his own choosing, and the more people get the approval of Thor's hammer, the more power they can unlock. People who can't get Thor's hammer may not even be able to pick up Thor's hammer, and Alessandro, the Washing Duck player who won Thor's hammer, initially took a lot of effort to lift Thor's hammer. Although he does not seem to be able to obtain the full strength of Thor's hammer, it is estimated that he will certainly not reach the SS level. But they are also very satisfied. At least the attack power of the player Alessandro has been greatly improved to be able to simply control the power of lightning and use it for his own use. You can also fly with the help of Quake, greatly increasing the variety of attack methods. The countrymen of the Washed Duck also have high hopes for Alessandro. I hope he can lead the Washboard Duck country and get outstanding results. There are also other Washed Duck players who also get some scattered but also very useful skill cards. For example, S-level 1-time skill card, Broken Road 90 Black Coffin. Broken Path 90 Black Coffin, a spell with extremely strong attack power. Generates a black coffin with a powerful death aura, imprisoning designated objects for eternity. Before release, you need to chant. Those with strong spiritual powers can abandon chanting. The more complete the chant, the more powerful it will be. Chant, faintly revealing a cloudy coat of arms. Untamed talents. These powerful S-level skill cards naturally make the Washer Duck people cheer even more. The other side. Justin, a Germanic player, also received an extremely powerful set of S-class equipment, steel armor. The national embargo made the following introduction to it. This set of steel armor has triangular arc pulse cannon armor on the chest. It uses the vibranium arc reactor, which provides more energy for the armor and has greater lethality. It is equipped with miniature armor-piercing bullets, heavy missiles, etc., which can cause great damage to objects in front of the eyes. Seeing Justin put on such cool steel armor, the old Ermines cheered loudly. Such a bullish steel armor can definitely sweep away all opponents. This is really high-tech, we must let them see how good we are. Haha. This can be called Iron Man. Let the Dragon Nation people regret continuing to fight with us, they will never be able to defeat us. Although we may have to pay a big price to make our country's beer disappear in an instant, 99%. Coal mine resources disappeared by 70%. But it's all worth it. Defeating the Dragon Kingdom players will definitely be able to swallow up the huge resources they got by chance. After hearing these words, the audience of the Lighthouse country on the other side was a little unpleasant. When it comes to science and technology, it must be that their country is the most developed. However, none of them made the mobile armor that would only appear in this movie. Instead, it allowed the Germans to get ahead of the curve. Well, you can only hope for the nine-tailed demon fox in your own team. Believing in his existence, he can definitely withstand the magic of these Dragon Kingdom players, or the technology of other countries. The audience in the Lighthouse Nation is even beginning to think. If the Dragon Kingdom were directly defeated by Europa, it would be really boring. At that time, we Lighthouse people still have to think about how to use the nine-tailed demon fox to deter this Europa alliance and continue to become the boss of the national Forbidden Land. As for the Dragon Nation people seeing this powerful armor, they also fell silent. This dramatic person is really open and hanging, directly equipped with such armor. How to play this? Dragon Country players, especially Suban alone, if they want to deal with them, it is really very troublesome. It can even be said to be a very tough battle. But at this time, what else can they do? I can only pray that Suban's people can defeat such a powerful alliance. And at this time, the high-level moves of the Europa alliance, the Dragon Nation people are unreservedly in the eyes. After seeing that they could really unite and deal with the single Dragon Kingdom player Suban, the Dragon Kingdom people were very anxious. In the face of Suban who worked alone, although all the Dragon Country people were not surprised, they still desperately complained. Suban gangster's style of a Lone Ranger, alas. However, he was really strong before, and we didn't have much to say. We could only pray that he could continue to maintain the previous crushing posture. Although he has just shown godlike means, there are also risks. After all, now other countries seem to be about to become gods, and they have the Hammer of Thor and the mythical demon fruit ability. There are also various S-level mythological character cards, S-level mythological skill cards. They seem to start at S-level right now. Although the big guy between the pillars did kill the S-class monster just now, but so many S-class. Even higher-level players from other countries, Suban Gangster may not be able to win steadily. I hope that Suban can continue to laugh until the end. As for persuading Suban, they did not hold out hope. Even Suban's close friend Zhu Jian could not successfully persuade him. The outsiders, how is it possible? With such a thought, the people of the Dragon Kingdom immediately began to pray earnestly for Suban and the others. At this time, Bayuekue completed the meeting with the pillar and the door. At the same time, in addition to Suban, the two pole eaters that Bayuekue had just rescued also followed Bayuekue's side. Although Uzumaki was also curious about these strange forbidden natives. But they have more important things to do at this time, so let's leave them alone for the time being. Next, Bayuekue, between the pillars and between the doors, began to look at the various rewards just received. Before they were pulled to the Forbidden Land arena, they killed countless B-class, A-class, and even S-class beasts. The first kill reward is also full of pots. In addition, in the process of settling the points challenge, you will receive extremely generous S-class treasure chest rewards. At this moment, I first opened these A-class chests, S-class chests. Congratulations to Dragon Kingdom player Suban for getting, and these rewards, for Suban, between the pillars, between the doors, and Bayuekue, have long been accustomed to it. Before that, they were even monopolized by their Dragon Kingdom. They themselves also, I'm going to be numb. Suban, between the pillars and between the doors, did not get much attribute point increase, mainly to obtain the mysterious Forbidden Land power. This indescribable power can help them adapt to the way the energy of the national embargo is operated. That would speed up their synthesis of chakras. You can also complete the casting of ninjutsu faster and strengthen the power of ninjutsu. So Suban, between the pillars and between the three people are very satisfied. Unlocking their peak strength is the fastest way to improve their strength. Of course, the increase of these attribute points still has a great effect on Bayuekue's words. Soon, under the spotlight, the Europa League was fully prepared. Countless countries have officially applied to the National Games Arena to challenge Suban, a player in the Dragon Country. The National Games Arena passed their request. A tone reached the ears of all the contestants and spectators. The first challenge of the National Games Arena has officially begun, by John Cow countrymen, Gaulish chicken countrymen, Germanic people, washboard duck people, Iduli people. The team composed of others began to formally challenge the team of Dragon Country player Suban. Please be prepared for both players. After 5 minutes, both sides will teleport to the designated map and start the game. Because there is only one person in Suban's room, the next challenge will be that he will single out the Europa League. After hearing this news, Suban, who was still thinking about what to do next, was a bit surprised. Someone challenges themselves? Are these foreigners really ignorant? It's so much fun. At this time, the national embargo began to briefly introduce the information of both sides. Seeing the other side's huge camp, Suban finally understood what was going on. So, I thought I had a lot of people, so I wanted to challenge me? Suban, Pillar, Gate and Bayuekue were all busy spawning monsters and never paid attention to these weak people. So the small moves against the Europa League were not known until this time. Moreover, seeing that the other party even called itself the Alliance of the Five Great Powers, Suban couldn't help but be secretly amused. Is this the choice of fate? He was able to give himself the opportunity to face the Alliance of Five Powers alone. This is quite similar to the original Uchiha spot, a person facing the Five-Nation Alliance of the Fire Nation, the Thunder Nation, the Earth Nation, the Wind Nation and the Water Nation. Well, then enjoy the battle. Through this battle, you should be able to significantly improve the level of play again. As soon as Suban thought of this, he waited calmly for the official start of the game. Soon, the National Games Arena officially teleported players from both sides. With a whimper, they came to the designated map. It's in the arena map. Suban opened his eyes indifferently and looked around at the surrounding environment. It was almost the same as before, and it was still surrounded by cold ice and snow. Suban began to move his muscles and bones, adapting to the environment here. The chakra in the body also began to run rapidly, filling the limbs and hundreds of skeletons of Suban, ready to attack. Not long after, in front of Suban, there were also Germanic people, John Cow country people, Gaul chicken country people and other people. After they came here, they finally saw this famous Suban. Although they had never seen Suban before, their ears were numb to his killing tips. The national embargo has also officially begun to be declared. The showdown officially begins, by John Cowmen, Gallic chickens, Germanic people. Wait for the alliance to start fighting against the Dragon Kingdom player Suban. Hearing this, Suban's face was still expressionless. Scanned the contestants here and felt the power in their bodies. Then he said in a calm tone, "Oh, you do have a lot of people here, I hope you gravel can dance well and please me." Seeing that Suban didn't take them in his eyes at all, the arrogant coalition forces were naturally ashamed and angry. "Oh, rest assured, it's not just about dancing, it's going to beat you to death. Don't underestimate our Five-Nation Alliance." While they were talking harshly, a huge energy suddenly burst out. One of the players of the washboard duck, with a sly smile on his face, does not talk about martial arts, and first uses the S-level skill card to sneak up on Suban. The 90 black coffin of the broken path. The next moment, Suban was all around, and countless dark rays of light were rapidly condensing. A faint black coffin began to surround Suban in it. Boom! For a moment, the entire battlefield shook. The breath of death also swept through the entire battlefield in an instant. The entire audience of the Dragon Kingdom was shocked and tearful in an instant. Episode 80 Kick the broken coffin to resurrection. You are surrounded by me alone. This scene immediately shocked countless viewers, especially the Dragon Kingdom audience. Oh, this player is also too sinister, although the soldiers are not tired of cheating, but before they finish speaking, they will launch an attack, too immoral. Didn't the people in the Europa League before blow themselves up very well? Now it's just going to use this kind of insidious means? It's really disgraceful. Oops, how come Suban still can't move? There's no way for him to escape. Could it be that this coffin has been able to control the big guy Suban, so that he has no way to move at all? In the panicked eyes of the Dragon Kingdom audience, the washboard duck player smiled darkly and continued to chant the chant, faintly revealing a muddy coat of arms, an untamed Jean crazy talent, tide. Negation. Paralysis. Moment. Hinder the long sleep, creeping iron princess. Clay dolls that constantly self-harm. Such a forced line, in his mouth, seemed extremely obscene. 90 of the broken ways. Black coffin, accompanied by his chant. The black coffin emitted an increasingly eerie pitch-black glow. Overwhelming. It's as big as a hill. Completely enveloped Su's spots. At this moment, only a few people could see that at the last moment of the black coffin, Suban's eyes were still filled with endless contempt. After being locked up in the black coffin, Suban inside began to mutter, "Oh, this thing is quite novel. But it's still a little weaker." Suban originally wanted to break this thing directly at once. But at this moment, an indescribable thought immediately began to appear in his mind. Suban felt his Uchiha spot template and began to fall into excitement. He was slightly surprised, but also immediately remembered, yes. Didn't I think before, how can I come back to life in this national embargo? This scene is barely a bit appropriate. Although this black coffin is not worthy of killing itself at all. But it's barely okay. Therefore, at this moment, Suban did not shy away from it, and even did not deliberately defend. Wait for the coffin to close slowly. Subsequently, a powerful force immediately began to attack Suban. The awe-inspiring black chi of the evil chi constantly seeped in from Suban's pores. We must crush Suban to pieces and completely take her to another world. However, Suban still didn't panic at all, and even calmed down. Because he already felt that his Uchiha spot template, in the slow play of the original stagnant degree of play, finally officially broke through the bottleneck. In this desolate and vibrant black coffin, although it is filled with all kinds of death, but there was an even more indescribable breath of life that began to melt into his body. This is a force that Suban has never felt before. And in the real world. After seeing the closed coffin, countless Europas were extremely excited. Haha, Suban was solved so quickly, it was really vulnerable. It seems that we look up to you Dragon Kingdom people, and you Dragon Country players are nothing at all. It seems that you Dragon Kingdom players must have cheated before, and you don't know what agreement to reach with these fierce beasts. Or what cheating was used. That's why we were able to beat them. Now come to this arena at the beginning and fight us, and you're about to show your original form. Knowing that, we wouldn't have had to get in Europa League to deal with you. Very good, then we're going to destroy you guys between the pillars. It's a pity that our country's players don't have the opportunity to perform, and it has been solved. And the Dragon Kingdom audience was also stunned at this time, and didn't even know how to fight back these sunspots. Could it be that the people of this Europa League, after receiving the national fortune reward, really suddenly became so buggy? So much so that their players didn't have time to respond and were killed. That's too much, right? Do you all blame this old man who uses S-level skill cards? The shock hit their hearts so hard that they couldn't react as they should. Even scolding the Europa players, and scolding them for being old and forced, can't say it. The hearts of the Dragon Nation people were only shocked and feared like never before. Could it be that their Dragon Kingdom player, Suban, who had been so invincible before, was finally killed? And at this time in the national embargo. Other Europa players are also very emotional at this time. Sleeper, didn't the Suban sound very invincible before? Don't even the top brass in your own country tell yourself that you have to be careful? How did it come to be solved so easily? Although the national luck reward thing is very strong, we did not expect to be so fast. If you know this, it's better to go to a country to deal with the Dragon Country players earlier. In that case, you can still swallow the reward alone. What a shame. Just when they were surprised and confused, the users of this S-level skill card suddenly and keenly discovered it. No, why inside my coffin? It seems that something is wrong, it is too calm. It's not like killing Suban. Is he still fiercely resisting? That's really confusing. Before he could doubt for long, an earth-shaking sound resounded through the battlefield. Boom. The black coffin suddenly turned into pieces and floated strangely in the air. The air around it also seemed to freeze abruptly, and then it shook in all directions, forming an extremely terrifying wave of air that rippled towards the entire battlefield. An indescribable, faint murderous breath that seemed to have turned into substance suddenly descended on the hearts of all the players. In the astonished eyes of the five-power coalition, a figure suddenly stepped out of the coffin. It was Suban's red figure. And it looks intact. The face of this washing duck player is immediately very ugly. My coffin didn't seem to cause much damage to it. The battle should continue. How could it be? Of course, after hearing such a remark, the players from other countries still did not think so, and they laughed and giggled. I have long said that there is such a fast end to the battle. Let us also have the opportunity to perform. But rest assured, Suban is certainly not so terrifying. He struggled for so long even with such an ordinary attack, it means that he is certainly not stronger. Even if it's a little tricky, it won't take long to beat him. Suban, don't think that you hurt so many fierce beasts before, it's very remarkable, and then you will inevitably be defeated by us. A good feeling comes from the fear of our five-nation coalition. Although I don't know what means you used to defeat those A-level fierce beasts before, at this moment, it is time for you to be terminated. And at this time, in the real world, the Dragon Kingdom audience was all relieved. Fortunately, our Suban big guy is fine, but it seems that he can't easily kill this S-level skill card. Indeed, this S-level skill card is already beyond the ability of normal mortals, and it can be said that it is a godlike power, so Suban also has to take a lot of trouble to get rid of it. Even if Suban is stronger than the S-level figure, it is estimated that he is not strong enough, right? The next battle is an uphill battle. Slowly, you guys look at the face of the big guy Suban. How do I feel as if I've completely changed as a person? Countless people have found blind spots at this time. Suban's face seemed to become mottled, and there were many cracks. It's like a statue about to be broken. This is the characteristic of the rebirth of dirt and the dust covering the body. This scene is even more worrying to them. Could it be that Suban was seriously injured in the battle just now? It doesn't look like it's in great shape. After all, it is an S-level skill card, so it is understandable to cause him some damage. Even if he can get rid of it, it will leave a lot of sequelae. The Dragon Kingdom people could only make this guess. This coffin is filled with endless death breath. Even if he comes out of it, it is estimated that he will be greatly affected. I don't know why. I vaguely feel that Suban's power has become more powerful, but it is not as lively as in the past. Is this what is called death, but not completely dead? By the way, why didn't he use the godlike giant mode he used before? Didn't he use it? It seems quite possible. He used this giant mode before. After killing 3 A-class beasts, he had to end it immediately, and it seemed that this would cause a lot of consumption for him. Alas, can he still use it now? If not, it is really difficult to pose a threat to these foreign players, and after realizing this, of course, the foreign audience was even happier at this time. Although the S-level skill black coffin just now did not destroy Suban at once, it must not be able to support Suban for long. So this time it is the best time to kill him completely, and these off-site audiences, in fact, are not clear. This is actually Suban's change after breaking through the degree of playing. Let his level of playing at this time has exceeded 60% to 65%. His strength also increased by leaps and bounds, entering another stage of Uchiha Ban. The period of rebirth in the dirt. Healthy body in prime, but also cannot be born and immortal. You have the eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eye, and you can also have the reincarnation eye that only opens in old age. 2 eyes can switch between each other. It was a time when it was difficult to describe combat strength. Although Uchiha Ban in this period did not dare to say that he was stronger than he was before he was born, to some extent, he was more tolerant of errors. It is precisely because he can constantly reorganize and resurrect his body that he can play with the shadows of the 5 major countries unscrupulously. In order to be able to use the means of the heavenly obstacle shock star equivalent to the end. At this time, Suban felt that he really had an immortal body. This should be the reincarnation of the dirt given by the Uchiha Spot template. In the original book, the living human body needs to be used as a container for the soul of the deceased, and the soul of the deceased is summoned from the pure land to the container of the real world. And with the help of dust, it becomes flesh and blood, and transforms into the appearance of the deceased. And as long as there was no yin-yang level attack, no matter how many injuries he suffered, he could directly return to his original form. Of course, at this time, Suban would not be controlled by the consciousness of others at all. All his actions are controlled by his own free will. It is only with the help of the mechanism of rebirth in the dirt to obtain another level of power. Next, Suban, with the idea of enjoying the battle, began to prepare for the so-called 5-power alliance. At this time, seeing Suban's arrogant appearance, the people of the Gall Chicken country said disapprovingly, death is imminent, how can you still drag it like this? Maybe just by relying on our players from the Gall Chicken country, we can easily beat Suban in a second. Or I can beat him on my own. It's time for them to understand how awesome we are. Advance Warhorse troops. The first one gives me a punch. With the command of the Gallic Chicken countrymen, a stormtrooper force of more than 20 B-class beasts appeared as a vanguard force of these weak players who obeyed the Gaulish Chicken country. Heavy cavalry troops. Although they were also a little uneasy at this time, they were still a little confident. These cavalrymen were dressed in heavy armor and armed with giant spears. The warhorses under their crotches are also ice horses up to 3 meters high, and their speed, attack and defense are not ordinary horse creatures. With the inertia generated by the galloping of the warhorses, they can absolutely smash into Suban like a heavy hammer and harvest the lives of the enemy at a rapid speed. I believe that with a round of charge, Suban would definitely fall into the quagmire even if he did not die on the spot. So at this moment, they all rubbed their fists and began to command the war horses, slowly moving forward. In the face of the charge of these behemoths and heavy cavalry, Suban still slowly advanced. But the strong sense of oppression emanating from it is not weaker than the other side's thousands of troops. Suban's expression was still with a faint sneer. Good. It's time for them to take a look at the power of the legendary Uchiha spot, the power of the gods. The next moment, Suban's eternal kaleidoscope rights the wheel eye and begins to spin wildly. He mobilized the vast chakra to every corner of his body. A mighty force swept steeply into the sky and swept in all directions. Airplanes. An instant. Even the B-class fierce beast ice and snow war horse in the distance could clearly feel Suban's terrifying killing chi and completely release it without reservation. For a moment, they were sweating profusely, and they had a deep fear of Suban. And the cavalry on their bodies also felt inexplicable fear, and their heartbeats missed a beat. What's going on? How can they start to feel fear before they even hit? Is this because of the power of Suban? After a pause, the speed of this heavy cavalry unit had been greatly slowed down. Even the Gallic chicken country players behind them turned their faces cold and shouted, "What are you doing? Why not keep speeding up? If you don't speed up, how can you have the strength to crush Suban?" But it was too late for them to speak at this point. Suban not only did not retreat, but also rushed directly towards countless warhorses. As an infantryman, a countercharge was launched. At this time, Suban completely showed the posture of a person surrounding an army, moving forward indomitably and unstoppable. Although Suban's face was indifferent, his meaning was transmitted to the hearts of all people. All of you are surrounded by yourself. Although tens of millions of people are looking forward to it. This is the power that comes from the legendary Uchiha spot. No matter how many mortals, they are completely unmatched. So next, in the horrified eyes of the cavalry troops, Suban's figure began to enlarge, continuously. Bang! Suban directly rushed into their cavalry units, bearing the brunt of it, knocking the first few cavalry tens of meters away. This is the powerful power of Suban. Just by relying on his physical quality, just relying on a simple and rough collision, it is enough to kill these weak humans in a second. In just one turn, these heavy cavalry units were already defeated. They don't want to hurt Suban. Even if you touch the corner of Suban's clothes, you can't do it. Before even seeing Suban, he was already knocked away by his teammates in front of him, and he was shot tens of meters away. They had also thought that under the strong impact of the heavy cavalry troops, Suban would be directly knocked out. Unexpectedly, the people who are now being knocked off are them. If the heavy cavalry units are like a hammer or a boulder, then Suban is like a huge mountain that can move. Can't shake it at all. Even more terrifying than a giant mountain. In the rear of the Europa League, you may not feel such a terrible momentum. But in the minds of the heavy cavalry units at the forefront, especially the players who were knocked off, they all had this idea: shake the mountain easy, Hansu spot difficult. Corpse.